The slap fiercely smashed down, instantly slapping Shu Yu down onto the ground. Shu Yu moved his body, stepping on it, his eyes darkened. You dare to fight with me one-on-one with someone like you? The slap fiercely smashed down, instantly slapping Shu Yu down onto the ground. Shu Yu moved his body, stepping on it, his eyes darkened. You dare to fight with me one-on-one with someone like you? Is it good? Fast, accurate, and ruthless. Without giving Shu Yu any time to react at all, fell to the ground with a slap. Shu Yu was a little fierce, her cheeks were numb and she couldn't even feel any pain. Being stomped by Long Fei, she became enraged, and said, "Do you know who I am? Do you know what my father meant?" Long Fei shook his head, "I don't know, but I know who your grandfather is." Shu Yu was startled, "My grandfather?" Long Fei said, "That's me." Shu Yu was in incomparable rage, and said, "Brat, you dare to provoke me, this old man will toy with you to death. You still dare to be arrogant." Before he finished speaking, Long Fei had already lifted Shu Yu up. With a move of his right hand, he grabbed out the dragon salya that was resting on his neck, and revealed a slight smile that seemed like the god of death. "Come, smile for grandfather again." The arrogant domineering aura of the dragon salya directly crushed Shu Yu's mind. Unwell. It was extremely uncomfortable. Shu Yu's face turned pale and his entire body trembled. He could not even stand steadily and directly knelt down with a thump. "Great hero, please spare my life. Please spare my life, I will never dare to do so again." Long Fei laughed, "Not arrogant. If you dare to be arrogant again, let me see. Isn't your father awesome? Aren't you just pretending? Continue." Shu Yu knelt on the ground. Just the 100,000 3,000 kilogram dragon salya nearly broke his neck and caused him to tremble uncontrollably. He felt as if an angry dragon was staring at him. As long as Long Fei gave the order, the dragon would swallow him up. Shu Yu had never been as afraid as he was now. He begged for mercy, "Spare me, chivalrous man, I really don't dare, I'm a poor bloke, I'm a country bumpkin, I'm trash, I'm a dog." While they were talking, Shu Yu slapped his face. Long Fei said, "Will you continue to pester my captain in the future? Your guild leader." Shu Yu took a glance at Long Fei, and upon seeing the badge on his chest, he immediately reacted, saying, "I don't dare, definitely don't dare." "Hey, are you the one who called Shiyun?" Long Fei glared at him. Shu Yu immediately changed his words. Miss Wang, I will definitely not disturb you again. I will tell Dad when I get back, the marriage contract will be dissolved. She is yours, how could I dare to fight with you for a woman?" Long Fei looked at Wang Shiyun. Wang Shiyun said, "Forget it, spare his life." Others might not know, but she was very clear that Shu Yu had an extremely strong background. His father controlled the strongest mercenary group in the Tianyun city. In the Tianyun city, he could cover the sky with one hand. It was because of helplessness that her father had agreed to the Shu family's engagement. If Shu Yu was killed, then Long Fei would never be able to leave Tianyun city. Long Fei withdrew his dragon salya and said faintly, "Scram." Shu Yu immediately rolled on the ground, rolling all the way out. The customers in the restaurant did not dare laugh, they only looked at Long Fei in shock. Their eyes seemed to be saying that Long Fei was a dead man. Tianyun city offended the Shu family? This was no different from courting death. Shu Yu, who had rolled out of the restaurant, had dense killing intent in his eyes. Gritting his teeth, he said, "You dog, just you wait. I want your corpse to be torn into 10,000 pieces." Shu Yu was a vindictive person, he would definitely take revenge for the humiliation today. There was no one in the Tianyun city that he couldn't touch. In another place. "Ha ha ha. Good. Then it's a deal. You can rest assured. With me, Shu Tianlei, protecting you, you will be able to travel smoothly. Who would dare not to give me, Shu Tianlei, some face on the road to the Sea Demon King city?" "Ha ha ha." Shu Tianlei laughed. The elder smiled, "Then we shall leave it all to Captain Shu." Shu Tianlei laughed, "No problem, come out tomorrow afternoon." The elder said, "This old and useless one bid farewell." Shu Tianlei returned to the hall and took out a bag of spirit stones. He weighed the spirit stones on his hand a few times and said, 100 spirit stones, ha ha ha. Steward Shu walked over and congratulated him. Congratulations, old master, we have made a huge profit this time. 100 spirit stones as a escort mission has not appeared in the Tianyun city for a long time, and after completing this mission, the Shu's mercenary corps is one step closer to the king's team. It's a cause for celebration. Shu Tianlei also laughed out loud. He was currently a class A mercenary group and was still a distance away from becoming a king's class. If he were to complete the mission, it would be as housekeeper Shu had said, he would advance another step. The entire South Horizon region only had 10 king-level mercenary groups. He wanted to become the 11th. At the same time, Shu Tianlei thought in his heart, what exactly do you want me to escort? The reward is actually 300 spirit stones. This is definitely not a normal amount of money. What exactly is it? Sea Heaven Merchant Union, Sea Devil Emperor, these things should belong to the Devil sect. What exactly is it? He also wanted to know. Even though Shu Tianlei was different, he said to the butler in a low voice, Shu Fu, go gather some information, I want to know what exactly he wants me to escort. Shu Fu nodded and said, I'll go right now. At this moment, Shu Yu stumbled in, crying as he shouted, Dad, 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 someone hit me. Shu Tianlei's forehead turned sinister, and said to Shu Fu, you go first. Shu Yu ran into the hall and showed his face to Shu Tianlei. Father, someone is slapping your son's face, he's still not putting you in his eyes. Shu Tianlei was slightly angered and said, didn't Wang Bodang ask you to bring Wang Shiyun back? Where did you get into trouble? It was he who had called for people to inform Wang Bodang of Wang Shiyun's arrival in the city. Shu Yu immediately said, I did, and I admit my wrongs, but… Father, your son is going to wear a green hat, and my head is already glowing with a green light. Shu Tianlei gave a slight cold snort. Just what happened? Shu Yu said, that bitch Wang Shiyun brought back a man. She beat me just now and threatened to trample Shu's mercenary corps to death. When I heard that, I couldn't help it. I'll fight him to the death when I get up there, but… However, that guy had 2 people. Wang Shiyun was still helping him. Look at my face, how swollen it is. Father, it doesn't matter if you hit me, but you can't insult Shu's mercenary corps. Add oil and vinegar, shit, urine. Equals semi-floating life plus. Shu Tianlei's patience was not very good. Upon hearing that someone did not even put the Shu's mercenary corps in his eyes, he immediately became extremely angry. You dare to be so arrogant on this daddy's territory? You're courting death. Just as he was about to charge out in a rage, a person landed in the courtyard. Demon. Chapter 38_841923566626. In the inn. In the inn. He ate and drank to his heart's content. Long Fei returned to his luxurious courtyard. 2 spirit stones could buy this inn, but now the shop assistants treated him like an emperor. At the entrance to the yard, Li Yuanbar sat on the stairs with the Xianshan sarcophagus beside him, quietly guarding him like a king of war. Long Fei did not allow anyone to enter. Then he would definitely not let anyone in. In the yard, Long Fei was like a thread of blood as he fell into a trance. His idea moved and directly entered the god's devil space. Buzz. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating God's Devil Space. God's Devil Space cultivated in Devil Arts and Devil Arts, which were multiplied by several times. The God's Devil Space had a total of 9 levels, with each level being different. The higher one went, the faster one trained, and the faster one trained. Looking at the God's Devil Space's description, Long Fei was surrounded by a huge martial arts training field. Everything here. Artifact forging workshop, alchemy, inscription formation, symbols, summoning technique. Everything. These auxiliary method demons could also cultivate, but the pills they refined were magic pills, devil artifacts, devil arrays. It really is a holy land for training. I really need it. Long Fei rejoiced in his heart. The cultivation technique he was training in right now was simply too difficult. Increasing it by 1 point at a time would take too much time to upgrade it. For example, Dragon Salya technique, I need a 100,000 points proficiency to level up. This. How can I train to go up? He could only stack it up with time. Anyone who had played before knew that the higher the skill level, the stronger the attack. The most important point. It was also the most important cultivation technique that Long Fei felt was very important to him, Wushuang. Unparalleled at the second level, 4 times the attributed strength, it was simply an explosive display. In the previous battle with Wu Haotian, if he wasn't 4 times the original strength, he wouldn't have been his match at all. Even if he had quadruple his attributes, it would still be extremely taxing. His spiritual force was unable to withstand it. The quadruple attribute seemed to be fine, but it wasn't. It required a strong spiritual force to support it. Its attack power was quadruple, and its energy consumption was quadruple as well. If he were to use it continuously, his body definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. This was the key. Another thing, the War Emperor realm was too strong. Even if it was at the peak of the War Master, the difference between it and the War Emperor realm was like heaven and earth. Take Wu Haotian and Hong Tianjun for example. It is also a War Emperor realm, but Hong Tianjun was so much stronger than Wu Haotian, too much, that there was no way to compare to him at all. Huff. Hong Tianjun, I will definitely appear in a position where I will absolutely crush you. I will definitely make you kneel down and sing a song of conquest. Definitely. Long Fei's idea sunk and immediately shouted, Wushuang, boom, ding. Proficiency +2 proficiency leveled up twofold. Furthermore, his true chi was only a tenth of what it was in the real world. This was too satisfying. At the same time, Long Fei formed a seal with his hands, opened his eyes and shouted, sealing secret. Shua. A talisman-like shadow exploded in the air. The cooldown time was up. Wushuang. 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 Sealing, sealing, sealing. Long Fei cultivated with all his might. 3 years was a very short period of time, so he had to train as hard as he could. Apart from Wushuang and sealing, Long Fei had practiced all the cultivation techniques in this space once. Only the Holy Sword 81 moves that gave him an incomparable headache. The damage of this sword technique. His watch had blown up. However, 81 strikes, 81 moves. Even if it was just 1/10 of the energy consumed, it would still be a true chi of 81,000 points. He couldn't afford it at all. Long Fei thought, at that time, the only thing I can do is to raise my god's devil space to the 9th stage of cultivation. Sigh. Wushuang. Ding. Proficiency +2 an hour passed and Long Fei was still cultivating. An hour and a half later, he was still cultivating. While the skills were on cooldown, Sauron's skills kept appearing in his mind. He had yet to fully comprehend the power of 3-blade stream and ghost slash. Moreover, it was not something that could be released just because he wanted to. He needed to enter a higher realm to release it. Long Fei was not going to let it go either. Now, it was the 3-blade stream, ghost slash. In the future, he would also have the 9 knives force. He had to learn all of Sauron's moves. At the entrance to the yard, the old man came back, wanting to enter, but was stopped by Li Yuanbar's hammer. Boss has orders, no one is allowed to enter. The elder smiled and said, sure, sure, sure. At this moment, 2 hours had passed and Long Fei had been kicked out of the god's devil space. He had spent 1,000 points to regain his original body's appearance. However, no matter how Long Fei changed, whether he was tired or tired, the consumption of his true chi was still the same. Long Fei walked to the well and poured a bucket of water over his head, saying, Yuan Ba, let him in. Hualala. This is great. As the cool and refreshing water from the well poured onto his body, he felt incomparably comfortable. The old man walked into the courtyard and said apologetically, I didn't make any arrangements for what happened tonight. I've caused you trouble, so I will definitely make it up to you. He went back to the hotel and listened to what the clerk had to say, and he was shocked. He was not shocked because of Long Fei's strength. Back at Swallow Mountain, he had personally witnessed Long Fei killing Liu Niushan in an instant. An ordinary martial artist would never be able to earn 2 spirit stones in their entire life. But he actually gave them as a tip. What sort of concept was that? You don't even care about spirit stones? Also, he was also a little worried in his heart, because the person Long Fei offended was Shu Tianlei's son, Shu Yu, the second-generation ancestor of the Tian Yun city. If Shu Tianlei got angry, then his mission would be affected. There were still more than 8,000 kilometers to the Sea Demon King city, and they would need about 3 months to reach there. Other than Long Fei, he had to find as much help as possible. The people who wanted to find him inside the Sea Heaven Merchant Union definitely could not do so, they could only go through the Mercenary Guild. In the Tianyun city, there were 3,000 people, making it the strongest mercenary group. Thus, he found Shu Tianlei. Long Fei smiled lightly. It's all right, you don't need to compensate me. Sister-in-law, 1-forward/plus health strongest upgrade system. The old man hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he still revealed the matter of him hiring the Shu's mercenary corps. Even if I don't care about the Shu family on account of this old man. Long Fei frowned slightly. The old man was worried that he would not protect Long Fei well, so he smiled. No problem, I am the best person to speak. As long as they do not provoke me, I will definitely not provoke them. If they provoke me, hey. Chapter 48_841923566627. No, no. The elder quickly said, secretly relieved, many thanks. No, no. The elder quickly said, secretly relieved, many thanks. Long Fei laughed, you're welcome. The old man continued, regarding the magic Buddhist relics, I hope you won't tell anyone else. This is our secret. Long Fei replied, understood. The elder said, then I won't disturb your rest any longer. He backed out. Long Fei then hoisted another bucket of water from the well and poured it all over. Awesome. Better not to provoke me. Otherwise. A few hundred kilometers outside of Tianyun city, in a dark corner of a valley. 2 old men wearing black cloaks. One of them said in a low voice, I can feel the aura of the god's devil ancestor. Another person said, me too, didn't God's devil ancestor fall? Why? The old man said, God's devil ancestor has limitless magic, even if he falls, he will definitely think of ways to escape from the cycle of reincarnation and reappear in this world. Another person said, we have to find the ancestor and revive our sect. The old man said, there's also the God's devil token, we haven't been able to find them for so many years. The patriarch's aura is emitted from inside the Tianyun city. It must be somewhere in the Tianyun city. Let's go. I must find the reincarnation of the god's devil ancestor. I must find him. The 2 balls of demon energy turned into a ball of light and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Their cultivation had already reached a terrifying realm, at least War Emperor realm. The god's devil token reappeared. The demon forces of the South Horizon region would inevitably trigger a change. The great reshuffle was about to begin. As for all of these, Long Fei had no idea. Who would have thought that taking out the God's Devil token and opening the God's Devil space's cultivation would attract the attention of the elders of the Heavenly Demon sect? Something completely unexpected. Because the God's Devil token had appeared, it gave rise to a light ripple which slowly spread outwards. From a small wave, it eventually turned into an enormous wave that overturned the sky. Let's not talk about the future for now. The night passed in silence. The next morning. What are you doing? Are you letting me sleep so early in the morning? Long Fei said in a very displeased tone. He had been asleep for less than 2 hours when he woke up. You know, God's Devil space only had 2 hours a day, and after 12 o'clock, it was a new day. Long Fei threw his head back and fiercely cultivated for another 2 hours. After coming out, he started training in Dragon Salya techniques and the like. He was really risking his life right now. It wasn't easy for him to sleep for a while, and he had just dreamed of having a romance with a few beauties, and he was about to take off his clothes, but she was awoken by Wang Shiyun. He was really unhappy. Wang Shiyun said, as the strongest member of the king's team, how can you sleep late? This mission is very important to our team. We have to succeed. After thinking deeply last night, I have decided to recruit a few more members to ensure the success of this mission. Long Fei waved his hand, you are the guild leader. If I want to recruit you, I will, so don't pull me. Wang Shiyun said, you are my teammate, you have to listen to all the orders from the group leader, you have signed the indenture contract. Huh. Long Fei glared and said, "Little girl, what is this indenture contract? You dare to play with me?" Wang Shiyun immediately weakened, and giggled. No, how could I dare to mess with you? Didn't you want to arrange some mission? Let's go and have a look, and get familiar with the process, and also help me support the scene, right? Hee. She wanted Long Fei to give her face. No one would pay any attention to her if she were to recruit a team member on her own. The last recruitment had either been for her beauty, or for her wealth. All of them burped. The important reason. They were too weak. This time, she wanted to recruit some experts, at least not weaker than Long Fei. This was the bottom line in her heart. The strongest king's mercenary group was going to recruit the strongest expert. Long Fei thought for a while, but was not sleepy even after being harassed like this, and said, "Wait outside, I'll be right there." "No. I'll stay here." "What if you fall asleep again?" Wang Shiyun insisted. Long Fei looked at her and asked, "Are you sure?" Wang Shiyun was very firm as he said, "I'm sure." Long Fei immediately pulled back the blanket and exposed his upper body. Ah! Wang Shiyun covered his eyes in panic and cursed, "Smelly hooligan." He turned around and hastily ran out of the room. He was so flustered that he nearly crashed into the door frame. Long Fei disdainfully said, "Damn, I already let you leave. You have no experience. Sleeping naked is good for your body. Clean up." Long Fei put on a clean set of clothes and walked out of the room. Wang Shiyun looked at him, slightly amazed, and thought in his heart, "He's quite handsome." Ding. Intimacy +5. Long Fei said shamelessly, "Did you get attracted to me? This hero, handsome, right?" Ha ha ha. Wang Shiyun immediately replied, "Shameless." Ding. Intimacy, 50. F***CK. System, you tricked me. Long Fei cursed in his heart. Li Yuanbar was still guarding the stairs and did not sleep for the whole night. Long Fei said, "Yuan Ba, you go and rest, eat whatever you want, eat however much you want, whoever dares to say that you ate too much, don't talk rubbish with him and smash him." 2 spirit stones could not be spent in vain. Li Yuanbar nodded, Tianyun City, Mercenary Guild. This was the busiest place in Tianyun City. Mission assigned, mission accepted. Points deal. There were also some recruits and some stalls. It was exactly the same as the world of the game. When he arrived at the entrance of the Mercenary Guild, Wang Shiyun immediately took out the special recruitment flag and shouted loudly, "The strongest king has recruited a team member. The most powerful king is recruiting for his team. The most powerful king is recruiting for his team." Long Fei almost could not listen to it anymore, and the surrounding people started to laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. It's her again. The most powerful king, in my opinion, he should be the weakest. The most powerful trash should be about the same. Ha ha ha. Wang Shiyun did not care about them at all. She believed that only people with good judgment would be willing to join her team and continue shouting. Long Fei pretended not to know him and said, "Continue with the recruitment, I'll go inside to take a look." He had come to see how the mission would be arranged. Entering the hall, Long Fei was a little dumbfounded. It was just like the train station in his previous life, a huge screen of black stone. Level C mission, Flower of Darkness, 100 points. 3 days time, 3,000 silver. B-level mission, exploring the ancient tomb in the dark forest, bringing back the king corpse's head. In 1 month, 500 points, 10,000 silver. Various tasks. And they all have a level mark. Suddenly, Long Fei saw a mission written by the Demon Clan. Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life strongest upgrade system. No matter if it was a sect or a devil, Mercenary Guild S were all alike. SSS level mission, search for God's Devil token. The God's Devil token on me. Chapter 5. Thank you for your monthly tickets, and thank you sincerely. 8_841923566628. SSS level mission, search for the God's Devil token. There is no time limit, 10 million points. 10,000 spirit stones will be rewarded, in addition to the Heavenly Demon Sect special reward. SSS level mission, search for the God's Devil token. There is no time limit, 10 million points. 10,000 spirit stones will be rewarded, in addition to the Heavenly Demon Sect's special reward. This quest information was available a long time ago. It was also the mission that hadn't been completed in the land of South Heaven for dozens of years. It was also the quest with the most rewards. Looking at the mission information, Long Fei was a little surprised. God's Devil token? The God's Devil token on me? I didn't expect the demonic sect to exist in this world. At first, Long Fei thought that it was the system's doing, but he didn't expect that the Sky Demon sect really existed. The rewards are really generous. Just 10,000 spirit stones is enough to make people salivate, not to mention the special reward from the Heavenly Demon sect. Long Fei secretly said in his heart. Looking at the God's Devil token within the space ring, he said with a smile. This mission should not be completed by anyone. He would never hand over the God's Devil token. He also needed God's Devil token's cultivation technique. How could he hand it over? Long Fei walked around the adventurer's hall and roughly understood the process of accepting the quest. Outside the hall, from far away, they could see that Wang Shiyun was surrounded by people. Long Fei was startled. I didn't expect her to have some ability, to actually be able to recruit people. Shu Yu, what are you trying to do? What are you doing? You guys. The sound of Wang Shiyun being forced to cry came out. Long Fei's heart trembled. No. Immediately. He quickly rushed forward. Wasn't it just when Long Fei left, that Shu Yu brought a group of people over to her side? They were all ridiculing her and looking down on her. Shu Yu stared at Wang Shiyun and sneered, "Where's your little girl? Why haven't I seen that country bumpkin?" Wang Shiyun picked up the flagpole on the ground, his eyes cold, and said, "Shu Yu, scram." Shu Yu laughed complacently. "Scram? Wang Shiyun, you wretched woman, don't think that just because you are the daughter of the city lord that you are so amazing. Shameless *tch. You're looking for a man behind my back. If he's here today, I'll definitely kill him." The words had just come out. Long Fei walked out. "Who's calling me grandpa?" Shu Yu's face instantly changed, his body couldn't help but tremble, and he said to the middle-aged man beside him, "Fifth uncle, that's him." Long Fei looked at the broken flagpole, then looked at the tears flowing from the corner of his eyes. He raised his eyes. Without further ado, without waiting for Shu Yu's reaction, he immediately slapped him twice. Pa. Lousy has given you face, right? Long Fei glared at him angrily. 2 slaps landed. Shu Yu was suddenly slapped until she was lying on the ground, seeing stars, and her swollen face quickly turned back into the shape of a pig's head. She covered her face with her hands and said, "Fifth uncle, he hit me, kill him." Shu Wushan's eyes turned sinister as he stared at Long Fei, and said, "Brat, you're very arrogant, daring to behave so atrociously here, don't you see where you are?" As soon as he finished, a large group of big-sized men rushed out, with a dozen of them surrounding Long Fei and Long Fei. Shu Wushan sneered, "Shu's mercenary cause business, those unrelated to you all scram, whoosh whoosh whoosh." The spectators quickly retreated, all of them with an expression as if they were watching a good show. "Ha ha ha. That kid is going to suffer. You dare to hit the crown prince of the Shu family? Aren't you asking for trouble? He must be the one chasing after the city lord's daughter, but if he does not take a piss, who in the Tianyun city would dare to go against the Shu family?" The tempo of courting death. The Shu family was the overlord of Tianyun city. An overlord who could cover the sky with one hand. Shu Yu laughed complacently, and said, "Trash, continue being so arrogant for this daddy. Damn it, if you dare hit this daddy will cripple you today." He felt proud of himself. Last night, if it wasn't because his father had something important to do, he wouldn't be allowed to go out. Otherwise, he would have long since brought the Shu family members to kill Xiong Longfei at the inn. He had brought people to the mercenary guild early in the morning to wait. He had predicted that Wang Shiyun would come here to recruit members. This was different from last night. Last night, he only had 2 bodyguards by his side, and now he only had 30 of them, and they were even fifth uncle of the war elder. No matter how strong Long Fei was, he was stronger than fifth uncle of the war elder. Shu Yu laughed disdainfully. "Stealing women from me, who do you think you are? Kid. I'll give you a chance to live. Kneel down and admit your mistake. If I'm happy, I might spare your dog life. He loved to step on people. Moreover, before he stomped on someone, he liked it the most when they kneeled down in front of everyone. I'm not tired of it. Shu Yu looked at Wang Shiyun and laughed coldly. Shiyun, look at him. He's about to kneel down in front of me and beg for mercy right now. Ha ha ha. He started to laugh maniacally. In this situation, he was definitely going to win. He wanted to trample on Long Fei to the point where he had no chance of resisting. However, he didn't really understand Long Fei. If he knew about him, he definitely wouldn't have brought these people over, or it could be said that he wouldn't come at all. Looking at Shu Yu, she laughed crazily. Long Fei said coldly, "Do you really like people kneeling down that much?" Shu Yu laughed, "It's your honor to kneel down to me, you trash, do you understand?" The moment he spoke, Long Fei slightly moved his feet. Shu Jianshan immediately became vigilant and his body shivered. His hands covered his face and he hid behind Shu Jianshan as he scolded, "You dog, come if you dare. Kneel." Long Fei was enraged, and the Wind Shadow fanatic was released. His figure disappeared. In that instant, Long Fei stood in front of Shu Yu, revealing a sinister and cold smile, and said, "Kneel." His body sank. Both of his fists moved, directly striking Shu Yu's kneecap. Crack. Crack. Shu Yu unsteadily stood and heavily knelt on the ground. Long Fei stood up, walked forward a step, and hooked his rear foot. Bam! He kicked the back of Shu Yu's head. His forehead heavily kowtowed. Bang! The floor was cracked from the impact, and blood spurted out from his forehead. After doing all this, Long Fei leisurely walked back to Wang Shiyun's side, and said with a faint smile, "Kneel down and kowtow, you're so obedient." It took less than 3 seconds to do all this. Too fast. It was so fast that it was dazzling. Even Shu Jianshan, who was at the peak of the War Elder Realm, was unable to react in time. Ah! Ah! Shu Yu was unable to stand back up, and could only kneel on the ground. His face was pale, and the pain he felt was as if he was crying like a ghost. "Fifth uncle, my leg, my leg. Kill him for me." It was also at this time 2 rows of guards rushed out, shouting, "Let's see who dares." Chapter 18_841923566629. Tianyun City Lord is here. Tianyun City Lord is here. Wang Bodang brought over 50 elite soldiers with him and rushed out with spears, immediately surrounding Shu Jianshan and the others. Wang Bodang glanced at Long Fei, then shouted, "Let's see who dares to touch him." Shu Jianshan's forehead turned sinister as he said coldly, "City Lord Wang, what do you want to do?" Wang Bodang coldly snorted, and said, "Shu Jianshan, what do you want to do now?" Wang Shiyun walked forward and said weakly, "Father." Wang Bodang scolded in a low voice, "I'll take care of you when we get home." Wang Shiyun lowered his head and retreated. He said to Long Fei in a low voice, "It's fine, my father is here, you'll be fine." Long Fei faintly smiled but did not make a sound. "Actually, it should be them." Shu Jianshan said, "City Lord Wang, you have seen how my nephew's legs were broken. Our Shu family cannot ignore this matter, even if you are the city lord." He was not afraid of Wang Bodang. Tianyun City was not surnamed Wang, but Shu. The Shu family's power was much stronger than the Wang family, so Shu Jianshan naturally did not place Wang Bodang in his eyes. Wang Bodang laughed, "I don't need to care about others, but I must care about him, because he is now my son-in-law." As soon as he finished, Long Fei was immediately dumbstruck. Wang Shiyun was the same. The two of them seemed to have been struck by lightning and stood there in a daze. What was going on? The surrounding crowd went into an uproar. Everyone knew that Wang Shiyun was Shu Yu's fiancé, so how did Long Fei become Wang Bodang's son-in-law? It was a bit hard to turn around. Shu Jianshan raised his eyebrows and shouted, "What did you say?" Wang Bodang laughed, "My daughter and Shu Yu are indeed engaged, but my daughter is already his and already has his flesh and blood. Do you think he is my son-in-law? I don't have enough brains." Long Fei was stunned, completely dumbfounded. "I'm going to be a father soon? Holy *T. Why didn't I know it myself?" Wang Shiyun's face was flushed red, She dared not raise her head to look. So that's how it is. If even the child has a son-in-law, then what is it? Shu Yu's green hat is so good that he doesn't even know he has a child. Ha ha ha. The Shu family has lost a lot of face this time. Their fiancé has been tricked by someone. How can they face anyone in the future? The surrounding people discussed amongst themselves. Shu Yu's face turned incomparably ugly. From the previous pale white to an ashen white, with a hint of green in the middle, he felt that he did not carry a green hat, but his entire body had turned green. The rage raged. Shu Yu roared, "Fifth uncle, kill him, kill him. What a shame." Shu Jianshan was also furious. He did not even put the Shu family in his eyes. "Wang Bodang, have you thought about the consequences of doing this?" Wang Bodang slightly said, "Shu Jianshan, I'm already going to be a grandfather, so I naturally have thought of the consequences." He was giving it his all. "You." Shu Jianshan's eyes were brimming with anger. He bellowed, "Disciples of the Shu family, listen up." Ha! The brawny men suddenly sank. Wang Bodang was not an easy target as he replied, "Guard of the Tianyun city, listen up." Ha! The sound was even louder as the spear moved and aimed at the Shu disciples. Shu Jianshan said in a dark voice, "Wang Bodang, you want to start the battle." Wang Bodang laughed, "You forced the start of the battle." The muscles at the corner of Shu Jianshan's eyes twitched. If they were to be compared at this time, then the Shu family's reputation would be greatly tarnished and they would have already been humiliated. "The arrows are in the mystical, I want them too." Shu Jianshan said angrily, "Today, let's see what you, Wang Bodang, can do." Kill. The disciples of the Shu family suddenly moved. Wang Bodang also secretly furrowed his brows. At this point, he would not take even half a step back, and said, "Do it." It was also at this moment. Boom. A powerful aura came crushing down, causing everyone's heart to tremble. Even Long Fei was surprised. What a strong pressure. A figure landed right in the middle of the crowd. He first looked coldly at Long Fei, then looked at Wang Bodang, and said, "City Lord Wang." Boom! Wang Bodang's body trembled slightly as he found it hard to endure. Cold sweat oozed out of his forehead, and his back was covered in a rain of cold sweat. The intense pressure completely suppressed him, rendering him unable to move. He felt extremely uncomfortable. At this time, Long Fei took a step forward, and thought to himself, "Ancestor." Yang Huang Ancestor replied, "Understood." While they were talking, Long Fei pressed a hand on Wang Bodang's back and at the same time, a strand of Yang Huang Ancestor's aura entered Wang Bodang's body. Boom! An explosive sound resounded in the air, directly blasting Shu Tianlei's crushing sky technique out. Moreover, he instantly flipped over and crushed Shu Tianlei's mind. His body trembled and he directly staggered 3 steps back, the blood below his throat roiled, blood was about to spurt out, and he forcefully swallowed it back. Everyone was shocked. Wang Bodang said slightly, "Guild leader Shu, do you have anything to say?" Shu Tianlei swept his gaze across the place. The force from earlier was too strong, and he was almost unable to endure it as he said solemnly, "City Lord Wang, there's still a lot of time to come. I, Shu Tianlei, will definitely return the humiliation today tenfold. Let's go." If he didn't leave now, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it. He was already injured internally, and his blood was roiling. He had to heal his injuries. Not to mention, with the help of an expert from Wang Bodang, even if he did not leave, he would not be able to gain any benefits. And he had more important things to do. Shu Yu shouted, "Father, avenge me. Kill that brat, father." Shu Tianlei walked to his side and instantly slapped him. "You scoundrel." Pa. He immediately fainted from a slap. Shu Tianlei took another glance at Long Fei before denying in his heart, "It's not him, definitely not. It's simply impossible for someone at the 7th level of the war chief to possess such powerful pressure." Today, Wang Bodang is not afraid at all. He has definitely found a strong rancor to support him. Return to the Shu family first. The Shu family retreated. Many people cheered. Ha ha ha. Today, the Shu family had fallen into a huge mess. Ha ha ha. Awesome, this is simply too great. Especially the 2nd generation ancestor of the Shu family. He was always acting arrogantly, bullying men and bullying women. It was truly displeasing. Just now, he was kneeling like a dead dog, ha ha ha. I'm dead laughing. He's too handsome. The mayor is mighty. The days of the Shu family's arrogance have passed. Long Fei's hand loosened. Wang Bodang's body trembled slightly. In that instant, it was as if all his energy had been sucked out of him. He felt like a giant just now, but now, he felt like an ant. http:// Wang Bodang turned around and looked at Long Fei, secretly rejoicing in his heart. Good boy. Long Fei immediately raised 4 of his fingers, and said, Uncle, I swear, I definitely didn't do anything to your daughter, nor did I crack anything. The child in your daughter's stomach is not even worth a dime to me, I swear to the heavens. He had somehow become the father of a child. This was not a loss at all. Chapter 28_841923566630. Wang Bodang laughed excitedly. You're my son-in-law, you won't be able to escape. Wang Bodang laughed excitedly. You're my son-in-law, you won't be able to escape. Wang Shiyun stomped his feet and called out, Father. Wang Bodang grabbed Long Fei and said, Follow me to the city lord's mansion. Without waiting for Long Fei to reject, he was dragged away by him. Their group of people quickly left as well. Behind them was a skinny youth. The youth's hair was a mess, and his clothes were tattered. He looked just like a beggar. However, in his arms, there was a very fine piece of silk wrapped around something that looked like a long stick. Long Fei glanced at it, but did not take it to heart. The Shu family. Shu Yu woke up after consuming the spirit medicine and cried out in pain, Father, help me take revenge for me. Kill him. You must kill him no matter what. Ah! My legs. Father, am I unable to stand up for the rest of my life? Father. Walking out of the room, Shu Tianlei could no longer hold back and vomited a mouthful of blood. Shu Jianshan immediately stepped forward to support her. Shu Tianlei also slapped his face down, and shouted, I told you not to let Shu Yu out, why didn't you listen? Shu Jianshan lowered his head and admitted his wrongs. He said that he was going to the mercenary guild to receive a mission. Why would I think of him? Big brother. How did you get hurt? Wang Bodang is going too far, daring to poop and pee on our Shu family, and even bringing a green hat down on our Shu family in front of the whole city. Big brother, if you want a nod, I will immediately bring people to flatten the city lord's mansion. Shu Jianshan said with incomparable fury. He had just finished. Shu Tianlei slapped him again, and berated him furiously. In the future, when you do things, use your brain, without any powerful warriors to support you. Does he, Wang Bodang, dare to challenge me? Phut! Fury attacked his heart. Shu Tianlei spat out another mouthful of blood. Huff! Shu Tianlei maintained his true nature and suppressed the anger in his heart, saying, Right now, we still have important things to do. There's no rush for Wang Bodang's matters. When I finish this, let alone a mere Tianyun city, I will dominate everyone within 100,000 kilometers. It was also at this moment. A demonic sound penetrated Shu Tianlei's sea of consciousness. Shu Tianlei's eyes trembled. He immediately turned to Shu Jianshan and said, Go and select the most elite mercenary disciples, they will be on a mission in the afternoon. Shu Jianshan immediately nodded, and said, I will do it. Shu Tianlei quickly walked into the room and closed the door, then respectfully greeted, Lord Shadow Devil. A ball of shadow appeared out of thin air, its back was facing Shu Tianlei, its voice was heavy as it coldly snorted, I told you not to cause trouble, why didn't you listen? Shu Tianlei immediately lowered his head and said, Master, I. The silhouette shouted, Don't say any more. If you don't do this well, your entire Shu family will be annihilated. Cold sweat trickled down Shu Tianlei's forehead as he said in a heavy tone, I will definitely give it my all, and will not disappoint sire's effort. And then, the shadow moved slightly and 2 magic pillars appeared on the table. The silhouette said, One is for you. It can help your cultivation increase by another level while the other one can help your son's legs recover at a rapid pace. From now on, you have to listen to my commands. Shu Tianlei was extremely touched, and said, Thank you, Lord Shadow Devil. Then, he could not help but ask curiously, Lord Shadow Devil, what exactly is being escorted by the Sea Heaven Merchant Union this time? Can make you do it yourself. Even he couldn't find out. The shadow devil's eyes opened wide. The temperature in the room plummeted. Shu Tianlei immediately knelt on the ground, not even daring to take a deep breath, as if a death scythe was resting on his neck. She was in extreme discomfort. Lord Shadow Devil, please spare me. Humph. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. If you ask too many questions, it will only bring you a fatal disaster. The Shadow Devil's voice was incomparably gloomy. Shu Tianlei's head hit the ground and his body trembled. Even though he was afraid, he was even more curious in his heart. Just what exactly was this thing? Who was the Shadow Devil? An elder from the Demon Mountain and Sea sect. His cultivation was unfathomable. This time, he actually went personally. It could be seen that this thing was extraordinary. What was it? After a long time, Shu Tianlei slightly raised his body, and only after the phantom demon disappeared did he slowly stand up. He thought to himself, this item must be extremely powerful, if I, Shu Tianlei, were to obtain it. Heh. So what if it's a shadow devil? What is it? People are greedy. Shu Tianlei was the same as well. He had been waiting for a lifetime's worth of opportunity, maybe this time. It was his chance to soar into the sky, and he would not easily give it up. Holding the 2 magic pills on the table, he did not consume them immediately. Instead, he walked to his son's room. Shu Yu was still in so much pain that he was still alive. With both of his legs crippled, ordinary spirit dans were not enough. Unless it was a heaven-rank spirit dan, he could only lie on the bed for the rest of his life. Consume this magic pill. Shu Tianlei handed it over. Shu Yu glanced at the pill and said, "Are you a magic pill?" "Father." Shu Tianlei glared at the center of his brows, and said, "Don't ask too much, take the pellet." After all, the Tianyun city was still within the sphere of influence of an orthodox sect. Shu Yu immediately swallowed the pill in excitement. Then, his body underwent an intense change, and his body was in incomparable pain. "Father, what did you feed me? It's too uncomfortable, Father." "Ah. Just what is it, Father?" Shu Yu rolled on the bed. It was as if there were 10,000 insects moving underneath his skin, and his pupils were emitting a demonic light. "Kill me, Father, kill me." "Ah." Shu Tianlei clenched his fists, and said solemnly, "Shadow Devil scoundrel." He did not dare to try the magic pill because he was afraid that the Shadow Devil would harm him, so he let his son try first. He did not regret his cruelty. To him, his son was already a piece of trash with his legs crippled. If he stayed in the Shu family, this kind of trash would only embarrass the Shu family. It would be better to just die. He was like a tiger that didn't eat its prey. However, he was much more vicious than tigers. Shu Tianlei consoled his son when he saw his son in distress. "It's good enough later, it's good enough later." About 10 minutes later, he turned over and stood up, and his eyes flashed with a sinister blood light. He recovered himself immediately and stared at Shu Tianlei, and said with a cold voice, "Father, are you using me as a test subject?" Shu Tianlei felt the change in Shu Yu's body. Now, he had already become a demon. "This is the magic pill." Shu Tianlei immediately said, "Why would father treat you as a test subject? Why don't you take a look at your legs now?" Shu Yu's eyes turned sinister as he said coldly, "It's best if it's not, or else." In that instant, Baidu search, half afloat, a strong killing intent flashed in his eyes. A cold killing intent. Even Shu Tianlei felt a chill in his heart as he became excited. Is this the power of a magic pill? The current Shu Yu was no longer the Shu Yu of the past. Chapter 38_841923566631. City Lord's Mansion. City Lord's Mansion, ha ha ha. My good son-in-law, it was you who gave me the spotlight today. Did you see that expression on Shu Tianlei's face? It's even uglier than the liver, ha ha ha. Wang Bodang held on to Long Fei the entire way, and didn't let go, as if he was afraid that Long Fei would run away. Long Fei watched Wang Shiyun all the way. Wang Shiyun also lowered her head and walked on. No one was more confused than her. All the way she thought, "Do you really want to marry Long Fei? Will my father really betroth me to him? Should I reject it?" After all, He's my team member and I'm the guild leader. Isn't that a bit inappropriate? Although he's a bit of a hooligan, he still looks pretty good, and he can say those emotionless words that make people happy. Aya, Aya. Wang Shiyun, you must be longing for spring. Will he refuse? I am born beautiful, the number one beauty of Tianyun City. What reason does he have to reject me? But what if he refused? What do I do? The girl's mind was as complicated as a geometric question. It was so annoying. Returning to the city lord's mansion. Only then did Wang Bodang let go of Long Fei. Long Fei massaged his wrist and asked, "Young lad, what's your name? Where are you from? Are my parents alive? How old are you? Do you have a family? Who taught you how to cultivate your cultivation?" Rolo chattered away like an old woman. Long Fei was dumbstruck, and then a sentence came out of his mouth, "Uncle, I already have a wife." Heh. Heh. The two of them were shocked at the same time. Wang Shiyun was obviously feeling a little down, her heart was suddenly empty, as if something was missing. Wang Bodang was stunned for half a second, and said, "So what if you have a wife? Which man doesn't have 3 wives and 4 concubines? All the strong are in groups of wives, what's wrong with that? Right." Long Fei never thought that Wang Bodang would actually be so open-minded to the point that his daughter was willing to let him be a child. However, Wang Shiyun walked dejectedly in another direction. Shiyun, why did you leave?" Wang Bodang immediately went over and shouted. Wang Shiyun was a little unable to control himself as tears welled up in the corner of his eyes. He sobbed softly, "Father, he already said that he has a wife, can't you make out what he means?" "I refuse." Rejected. Although she was prepared on the way here, she still couldn't accept it. Long Fei's heart also shivered. This was the first time he felt that it was not good to reject someone else. However, in his previous life, he had also confessed to it. Every time. Reject. Could it be that they were feeling the same pain as him at that time? Of course, he was overthinking it. Long Fei muttered to himself, "It's better to be late than early. I can't possibly lie to her, right? Sigh. Being handsome is also a sin." She didn't want Jojo to be like the leopard girl, not like the 3 sisters, not like Yuan Ling, who only gave her a normal, beautiful feeling. Was just a beautiful girl, nothing more. Looking at Wang Shiyun sobbing, Long Fei felt some regret in his heart. Walking forward, he said, "Leader, the mission is going to start in the afternoon, do you still want to go?" In the blink of an eye, Wang Bodang was startled, then immediately became serious, and said, "Both of you are not allowed to go." Long Fei and Wang Shiyun said at the same time, "We are going." Wang Shiyun glanced at Long Fei, and her expression immediately recovered back to normal. This was her first mission, and she had to complete it no matter what. She didn't want a man. She wanted to become the leader of the king's army. The strongest king was her true target. Long Fei had to go even more, the mission had to be completed, and also, magic Buddhist relics must be obtained. Yang Huang ancestor did not talk about many good things. Wang Bodang looked at them and said, "This mission is much more dangerous than you imagined. Furthermore, I have already received news that the Shu's mercenary corps will escort you and Shu Tianlei will personally escort you." Wang Shiyun was startled. What? And his called Shu's mercenary corps? Long Fei was not shocked, because he found out about this matter last night. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "So what? Do you think I would be afraid of Shu Tianlei?" Wang Shiyun immediately said forcefully, "That's right, we will let him experience the battle power of the strongest king, Mph." He put his hands on his waist, and his chest vibrated slightly as it swung back and forth. Long Fei's eyes almost sunk in. Wang Bodang coughed and said, "Shu Tianlei is just one of them. I am afraid he will be the smallest problem during the escort mission." "Do you know what these things are?" Long Fei and Wang Shiyun shook their heads. All they knew was that it was a magic box. They didn't know what was inside. Wang Bodang lowered his voice and said, "It's God's devil blood, 3 magic Buddhist relics, and a handful of God's devil lute and God's devil blade. These things are supreme beings of the demon race. Think about what kind of opponents you will meet along the way. The entire demon race knows. The blood refinement sect. The Mountain and Sea Sect. The Blood Sea Sect. The 8 major sects of the devil race are all involved. A small Shu Tianlei is nothing compared to them. It was all a coincidence that he knew. The reason he had rushed to Mercenary Guild today was to stop his daughter from continuing. It didn't matter who took up the task. In the end, there was only one result. Death. It was a death mission. With the fall of the heavenly demons, the demons turned into scattered sands, each fighting on their own. Now, the god's devil blood had appeared. This was a signal. Whoever obtains the god's devil blood can become the supreme devil king of the South Horizon region, and they can command demons. Thus, on the surface, everything seemed calm, but in reality, it wasn't. Long Fei and Wang Shiyun were stunned. Wang Bodang laughed proudly. You must be scared, give up this mission quickly. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei himself was excited. Wow, so many good things. Mine, it's all mine, ha ha ha. I'll accept this mission. Just thinking about it made him excited. This was even better than killing a boss. Moreover, what did it mean for the 8 great demon sects to come and snatch it? This meant that a large wave of experience was approaching him. A large wave of spirit treasure, true chi, was approaching him. How could he give it up? If he gave up, then he wouldn't be called Long Fei. Wang Shiyun's face was also filled with shock. He said, so my mission was a hidden quest. This is at least an S-rank quest. If it is completed, my King's Legion's name will shake the world. Ha ha ha. I can't give up. Long Fei, follow me out now. I have completed this mission. Long Fei scratched his head. Isn't it better to go out? Wang Bodang almost fainted from anger. He thought that the two of them were scared stiff. He never thought that they would be so excited. Before he could react, Long Fei and Wang Shiyun then walked out of the city lord's mansion. At the door, that raggedy old man was as thin as firewood. He held a long stick in each hand and carefully asked, "Are you guys still recruiting other team members?" It was also at this time. Equals semi-floating life plus, the 8 King Kong systems suddenly sounded out. Ding. Chapter 4. It was 6 in the morning and Hai Yang still had some important matters to attend to. There was another chapter today. If the 5th chapter didn't update today, then it would be updated tomorrow. Thank you for your monthly tickets, thank you. 8_841923566632. The system suddenly sounded out. The system suddenly sounded out. Long Fei was startled. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest. Mission, subdue Rohan level, a time, 1 month reward, 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi, 1,000 points. Any S-rank reward will be special. The system beep ended. Long Fei's heart trembled. Ahut? What an interesting name, and why did the 8 King Kong systems sound the notification? Could it be that this skinny guy with a match in front of him is one of the 8 great King Kong? Old man, can you see anything? Yang Huang ancestor thought for a moment, then said, I can't tell yet, but the rod in his hand is very special. There is an extremely strong demonic energy. It should be in Vajra Pestle. It might be a special holy artifact. It's not wrong. It's definitely a special holy artifact. My perception of good things is definitely not wrong. The Ahut did not display any power, he could not tell, but the holy artifactess and the like, he was the most powerful. Long Fei was secretly shocked. Special holy artifact. What exactly is it? Wang Shiyun was shocked, and immediately asked, what do you know? Just as he finished asking, she seemed to have thought of something and changed her words. We won't be recruiting members for now. If you want to join our king's army, then wait for us to come back. You can then join us. This mission was very dangerous. Out of kindness, she didn't want to involve Ahut in it and lose her life for nothing. Ahut was a bit anxious and said, Big sister, I can do anything. I can do laundry and cook, pull the carriage, and carry the sack. I can do anything, so just take me along with you. There was a hint of pleading in his eyes. No one wanted to take him in. He had been in the Tian Yun city for 3 months and was basically hungry for 3 months. No mercenary group was willing to take him in. Because he was weak. Because of what he was wearing. Because he was like a beggar on the street, no one would even look at him, let alone recruit him into their mercenary group. Wang Shiyun was at a loss. I'm really sorry, we are going to take a mission. This mission is very dangerous, you should wait for us to come back. Arhat became even more anxious and said, Sister, please accept me. I can really do anything, I can eat any kind of suffering. Yes. Without waiting for Wang Shiyun to reject, Long Fei put a hand on Arhat's shoulder and said, From today onwards, you will be a member of our king's army. Arhat's body trembled, his hands held onto the Vajra pestle that was hidden under his tattered robe tighter. He was a little nervous, afraid that Long Fei would notice something and retreat half a step, and he bowed while saying with gratitude, Thank you. Wang Shiyun held onto Long Fei, and asked, What are you doing? Don't you know how dangerous this mission is? You still have him? You're letting him die. Long Fei said, I'm still bringing you, just one more person. He was very interested in this Arhat now. He thought to himself, 8 system beep, just what King Kong is he? Demon fighter Vajra? Sword force King Kong? And his even from arrogant knife King Kong? No matter what King Kong, only you are one of the 8 great King Kong, I, Long Fei, will definitely surrender to you. Even though Arhat was wary of him, but Long Fei was not worried. As long as it was his brother, he would cherish it with his life. Wang Shiyun stared at Long Fei, and said, I am the guild leader, I do not allow you to send people into the army randomly. Long Fei looked at Wang Shiyun seriously and said, If you continue to be like this, I won't let you play anymore. All right. This time, you are in charge. Wang Shiyun immediately shriveled up, flipping his face was faster than flipping a book. Long Fei looked at Arhat and said, From today onwards, you are a member of the strongest king. Go and prepare yourself. Arhat scratched his head and said, There's nothing to prepare, I can leave now. He was alone. He slept on the street every day and ate the leftovers of someone else's food. He did not know how he managed to survive. During these 3 months, he did not even know why he was still alive. Long Fei said, Then let's go. Wang Shiyun took the lead and walked at the very front, showing her leaders and big sister's might. She was also worried that her father would catch up with them, hence they walked very fast. Long Fei wanted to walk side by side with the Arhat. But Arhat was always at the back, following with his head lowered, as if he was feeling very inferior. As he walked to the end of the street, the fragrance of steamed buns, which had just come out of the oven, wafted into the air. Arhat lightly paused for a moment, then cleared his throat. At this time, Long Fei walked forward and said, Give me 100 steamed buns. After paying the money, he said to Arhat, Take it. Arhat walked forward, continuously swallowing his saliva. It had been a few days since he had eaten his fill. Looking at the fragrant steamed buns, his stomach rumbled. However, he did not eat. Because the one on top of Long Fei didn't let him eat it. Half an hour later, the 3 of them walked to the inn. An assistant ran up and protected Long Fei's thighs, and said, Brother, I will return the spirit stones to you. You guys can go, I beg of you. If we continue to eat like this, our store is going to go bankrupt. Long Fei was shocked. The hall was surrounded by people, and all of them were looking at one person. Li Yuanba. The plates beside him were piled up like a small mountain, all of them were completely bare, not a single bit was left. Li Yuanba shouted loudly, Boss, give us 100 more portions, it's not enough to eat. Plop. The storekeeper's eyes turned into those of a panda's. It was obvious that he was beaten up. He knelt on the ground and wailed, Are you my biological grandfather? There really is nothing left to eat in our restaurant. Please be merciful and take a rest, don't eat anymore. Li Yuanba said naively, If there's no dishes, then. Do you have rice? It's fine if there's rice. First, a bucket will be served, and finally a bucket the size of a bath barrel. The shopkeeper was speechless. Even rice needed to be filled in a bucket. What kind of concept was this? Ever since Long Fei went out in the morning, Li Yuanba had been cooking and did not stop. He ate up all the food in the shop by himself. The wine was gone. Now all that was left was rice. Li Yuanba glared and shouted, My boss, told me that if anyone dares to say that I ate too much, I will beat them up. Do you want to be beaten up? The shopkeeper's body trembled and his face immediately paled. He immediately said, I'll go cook it for you. Do you want me to cook it for you? When he stood up and saw Long Fei, he immediately handed over the 2 spirit stones as if he was looking at his father. Li Yuanba turned around and looked at Long Fei, who was at the door. He gave a silly smile and said, Boss, you're back? Long Fei was dumbstruck. Seeing that Li Yuanba did not have any protruding stomach, he really wanted to ask, where did all those things you ate go? Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Li Yuanba suddenly stood up. His footsteps moved bang and the entire inn was trembling. The floor beneath his feet even directly shattered as he walked past Long Fei to the Arhat's side. His eyes filled with excitement as he asked, Who are you? It was unknown why Luo Han's body was trembling and boiling with energy. Looking at Li Yuanba's muscular body, he was also a little excited and said, Demon fighter, Luo Han. In that instant, Long Fei became excited, the second one from the 8 Great King Kong, the demon subduing Vajra. The 5th chapter arrived a little late, the sea is sorry. 8_84-19-2356633. Demon fighter, Arhat. Demon fighter, Arhat. It was a very cool name. This naturally made Long Fei think of the 2nd King Kong, the King Kong of the 8 King Kong systems. Immediately, his heart became excited. Li Yuanba is a holy King Kong, a titan god bloodvein, born with godly strength. What would a demon subduing Vajra be? I'm really looking forward to it. Long Fei was excited in his heart, but he did not express it. Li Yuanba and Arhat felt at first sight, the God Realm warrior, Li Yuanba. The age difference between the two was 5 or 6 years, but when Li Yuanba first saw the Arhat, he immediately fell in love with it. Li Yuanba asked foolishly, Boss, can you bring him along? Long Fei laughed. He is already our brother. Wang Shiyun stared at Long Fei, feeling that he was different from the others. Furthermore, hearing the words demon fighter from the Arhat, Li Yuanba saying God fighter made her a little confused, as she didn't understand the situation. However, she was too lazy to think any further and said, You guys pack up. I'll go find my employer. Long Fei said, Go. Looking at the hot steamed buns in Arhat's hands, he didn't eat a single one, even though his stomach was growling in hunger, from the street to the inn. Long Fei said, Arhat, I bought those steamed buns for you to eat. Arhat looked at Long Fei with his eyes flickering with gratitude. Li Yuanba took out 2 big white buns and said, All 3, go ahead and eat. Our boss treats us so well, hurry up and eat. It was also at this time. Long Fei looked at the shopkeeper and said, Stir in a few more dishes and a jug of good wine. The shopkeeper doesn't even have anything good. If you say it like that, then we won't be leaving. The storekeeper immediately reacted, Yes, 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 all of them. 10 minutes later, with 3 simple dishes, Li Yuanba laid on the table, watched the Arhat eat madly, and then laughed foolishly as he said, Eat, eat. It's not enough for us to order more. The manager almost fell to the ground in fright when he heard this. Arhat's mouth was full of stuff, his eyes were wet, and his heart was moved to a complete mess. Long Fei took out a spirit stone, threw it into the shopkeeper's hands, and said, Go and buy him a few sets of better clothes. Also, 1 more coat and robe. The shopkeeper took the spirit stone and swiftly ran out. It will be here soon. Since he was sure that it was the demon subduing Vajra, Long Fei would not be stingy. He would never be stingy towards a brother. Half an hour later, the shopkeeper ran back with a few sets of gorgeous clothes in hand, panting for breath. Long Fei said to Arhat, You are now one of us. Change into some clean clothes and we will be leaving soon. Li Yuanba immediately grabbed the clothes and pulled the Arhat into the backyard. At this time, Wang Shiyun and the old man walked out. When the old man saw Long Fei, he smiled and said, Young hero Long, I'll have to trouble you this time. When we reach the Sea Demon King city, I will keep my promise. Long Fei said, These words of yours are enough. Magic Buddhist relics? He had to get it. As for the other things, God's devil blood-s, God's devil lute-s, God's devil blade-s. This was simply a demonic set. These things. Long Fei smiled weirdly in his heart. 10 days later. Li Yuanba and Ahut walked out. The Ahut had washed up, tied up in a bun, cleaned the filth on his face, and a strand of spirit energy appeared between his brows. It was a very special feeling. On his back, there was something wrapped in a long robe. It was as long as a stick. Long Fei said to the old man, "He's my new teammate, he will also participate in this mission." The old man looked at Ahut and smiled. Good, good, good. We are lacking manpower right now. One more person means a bit of strength. Let's go. Li Yuanba ran to the backyard, carried the huge sarcophagus and walked to the Ahut's side. He laughed foolishly. All three, let's go. He had already treated Ahut as his brother. Boss Long Fei, his number 2, and Ahut is number 3. Ahut looked at the huge sarcophagus on Li Yuanba's back and his heart trembled. Looking at Li Yuanba's silly and innocent appearance, he smiled lightly. It was the first time he had smiled at someone. Long Fei and Li Yuanba made him feel close. Let's go. The elder gave an order, go through the north gate. North gate. Wang Shiyun's brows immediately tightened. Long Fei asked, what's wrong? Wang Shiyun shook his head and said, it's nothing. The best place to go to see Demon City is from the west gate. And Wang Shiyun said in a low voice, the north gate leads to the dark forest. The old man explained, the dark forest is a temporary decision. Along the way, there will be too many dangers. We have to be vigilant. No one knew that he would choose that path. He believed that the journey from the west gate to the Sea Demon City was fraught with dangers. The news of him escorting the heavenly demon saint must have leaked out. The people from the 8 demon sects would definitely not let him off so easily. There might even be people from sects. The reason why they didn't make a move in Tianyun City was because they were waiting for someone to make the first move and the best opportunity to kill. The only thing he could do was to constantly change his route, and no one would have thought of that. Long Fei secretly asked, Dark Forest? Immediately. Thinking about how Mercenary Guild had a few tasks in the Dark Forest, he immediately said to Wang Shiyun, you guys go first, I'll be right back. Right now, he really needed mercenary points. He wanted to give the Heart of Ancient Fairy Tree a mission, since it was on the way anyway, so he naturally wouldn't let it go. Wang Shiyun wanted to stop him, but Long Fei did not stop him at all. I stopped for a moment, and looked at Long Fei's disappearing figure, my eyes moved. Humph. Who's the guild leader? Wang Shiyun stamped his foot angrily, stared at Li Yuanba and Ahut, and said, you two are not allowed to be like him, you have to listen to the guild leader's words. Only the guild leader can decide everything. Li Yuanba and Ahut glanced at Wang Shiyun and said oh at the same time, then. There was no sign of her. Wang Shiyun was so angry that he almost went berserk. And guild leader. Captain my ass. The 4 of them walked to the north entrance of Tianyun City. 300 Shu's mercenary corps elites were waiting at the city gate as Shu Tianlei sat on the body of a blazing tiger. A mount. As long as he was the only one who owned a mount in Tianyun City. Furthermore, it was a 3rd-level peak domesticated demon beast. Beside Shu Tianlei was a man wearing a black robe and a black cloak. Seeing the old man's group walk over, Shu Tianlei did not dismount from his mount, and instead said lightly, since you're here, come out now. Wang Shiyun looked at Shu Tianlei, and his gaze landed on the man in the black cloak, and his heart shivered. Demon? Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life strongest upgrade system it was also at this time. The cloaked man took off his cloak, revealing an extremely sinister sneer, and said coldly, Wang Shiyun, we meet again. The cloaked man, Shu Yu. The Shu Yu of the Infernal Queen, Chapter 18-84-19-2356-634. Shu Yu was completely different. Shu Yu was completely different. The aura exuding from his body was even more vigorous and powerful than the aura emitted by his father, Shu Tianlei. Especially that pair of sinister eyes, which made one's hair stand on end. Wang Shiyun's eyes turned sinister, he shook slightly, and said, Shu Yu. Your leg. The kneecap was crushed, and it was cured in less than half a day? Shu Yu sneered. What? Are you disappointed that my leg is healed? No, no. Wang Shiyun said, your leg is fine, it has nothing to do with me. Humph. Shu Yu let out a cold snort, and said, Wang Shiyun, the road is very long, we have plenty of time to get involved. He finished. He glanced behind Wang Shiyun, but did not see Long Fei at all. With a frown, he coldly laughed. Where is your little lover? That grandson is looking for grandpa. Long Fei rushed over, and when he saw the bewitched Shu Yu, he was secretly shocked. The morning punch was very powerful, his kneecap had shattered, but he did not expect it to be restored in just a few hours, and the cultivation aura being released from his body was extremely dense. Long Fei thought, this is bedeviled. Shu Yu's brows twitched, and said sinisterly, it's good that you're here, I'm really afraid that you won't come. The elder coughed lightly and walked forward, saying, since everyone knows each other, there is no need for me to introduce you further. We are now on the same boat, as long as you can escort me to the Sea Devil Emperor safely, you will be satisfied with the payment. A glint flashed across Shu Tianlei's eyes, and he said slightly, as for the obscenities, we are only responsible to you, as for some cats and dogs, we will definitely not protect them. Wang Shiyun was instantly in a bad mood, and said, who's a cat or dog? Then, Wang Shiyun also said, our strongest king's mercenary group is only responsible to you. As for the rats, and the poop maggots in the fecal pit, we will absolutely not protect them. The most powerful king. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. The hundreds of people from Shu's mercenary corps all laughed. Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, his gaze sweeping across them as he scolded, I'm laughing at you. Li Yuanba took a step forward, his big feet shaking, he pointed at those who were laughing, which one of you dare to laugh again for me? An incomparably domineering aura instantly crushed down. Everyone's face turned cold, they did not dare to continue laughing. Shu Tianlei endured his anger, he had a reason for coming this time, he could not delay any further just because of Long Fei, and said, it's getting late, let's hurry up. The old man immediately said, let's hurry. Let's hurry. Shu Tianlei asked, which way do you want to go? The old man replied, to the dark forest. Huh? Shu Tianlei frowned, he stopped for half a second and said, Shu's mercenary corps, listen up, target, dark forest, all of you come out. Wang Shiyun also shouted out loud, the strongest king's mercenary group, listen up, target dark forest, everyone come out. Li Yuanba dug his ears out, and said, my ears are about to break from your vibrations. Why are you talking so loudly? We're not deaf. Then they all walked forward, completely ignoring her. The leader of the strongest beast kings. Too bitter. Wang Shiyun was about to go berserk. City Lord's mansion. City Lord, the little miss and the others have left. They are going through the north gate, so they must be trying to escape through the dark forest and enter the sea demon's territory. Wang Bodang frowned slightly. Dark forest? He thought about it. Wang Bodang's heart sank, and said, the dark forest is closer to the Bloodsea sect, could it be that he is related to the people of the Bloodsea sect? Huff. Go inform the Zephyr Guild and tell them that they are going to the north gate, there's no need to say anything else, Wang Bodang said. One of the guards immediately said, as you command. Then he quickly retreated. Wang Bodang began to ponder, the dark forest, right? This should be the best hiding place. Or the route of disappearance. What a clever plan. At this moment, Wang Bodang seemed to have completely changed. Other than the Tianyun city lord, he also had another identity, an inner court elder of the strong Gale sect. He was the person that the Zephyr Guild had arranged to monitor the movements of the demons. He had always kept it hidden. Wang Bodang looked into the sky and thought, it's time for me to leave as well. Almost at the same time, the 8 demon sects all received the news, and left through the north gate, entering the dark forest. The dark forest is too big, where are they going to pass by? Not to mention a few hundred people, even if tens of thousands of people were to enter the dark forest, finding them would still be like looking for a needle in a haystack. This old fox really knows how to scheme. We don't know. Some people do. The people from the 8 demon sects were well aware of this, so none of them were in a hurry. In another place. At the inn where Long Fei and the rest were staying. The innkeeper and the waiter knelt on the ground, trembling all over. The shopkeeper said, "Lord Demon Lord, they have already left. I really do not know where they are going. Please spare our little lives. Lord Demon Lord, I have an old man on me and a little boy on me. I beg of you, please be merciful." In the yard, 2 old men dressed in black robes. One of them closed his eyes and his aura spread to every corner of the courtyard. Half a minute later, he nodded at the other elder and said, "This is the place." They were the experts of the demonic sect. The god's devil ancestor had fallen, the demonic sect had been destroyed, and the 2 of them were one of the few people here. They were the guardians of the heavenly demon sect. One was called Jiyu Hun, and the other was Wild Ghost. The Tianyun city was too big. With such a large population, even if they were experts from the devil sect, it would still be very difficult to pinpoint their exact location. "Old devil, it seems like we didn't find the wrong place," Lonely Soul said in a low voice. Wild Ghost said excitedly, "When the Lord Demonic Lord reappears in the human world, our demonic sect will definitely rise again, ha ha ha." Jiyu Hun said, "Old man, his aura is very weak, his cultivation base should be weak. We must find him as soon as possible and protect him." Wild Ghost's brows shook. "If anyone dares to touch our young master, I will definitely annihilate all 18 generations of their ancestors." As soon as he finished, the 2 of them transformed into a ball of light and disappeared into the sky above the north. The shopkeeper got up from the ground and said in a shaky voice, "The heavenly demon has reappeared in the human world. Right here in this courtyard." Then, immediately, an image of Long Fei appeared in his mind, his heart shivered, he was so scared that his face turned pale, and he said in a stern voice, "No matter who asks, you are not allowed to tell anyone about them coming to the inn, or else even if you and I have 10 lives, it won't be enough, understand?" The waiter nodded like a chick pecking rice. Sister-in-law, 1-/+ health strongest upgrade system in another place. Jiyu Hun kept the remnant soul that he had left behind in the yard and smiled, "You're quite tactful." If the shopkeeper and the waiter had any thoughts, then the 2 of them were already dead. This was the Heavenly Demon Sect. Chapter 28_8419235665. 3 days later. 3 days later. At the edge of the dark forest, Shu Tianlei waved his hand and ordered everyone to rest in place. They were about to enter the dark forest, so they had to take a good rest and get themselves organized. Shu Tianlei jumped down from the blazing tiger's body, walked to the old man's side and said, "The dark forest is different from other forests. The dark forest was incomparably dangerous. All the demon beast here were of the darkness element." The old man frowned slightly and looked at Long Fei, who was not far away. Hearing Shu Tianlei's words, Long Fei said, "No problem, we can obey the allocation, but don't treat us like cannon fodder." He knew this team had to be unified and command, otherwise, not to mention meeting the demon powerhouses, even the demon beast in the dark forest would be more than enough for them. Letting out a breath, the elder spoke, "Then we shall kneel to Captain Shu and command." Shu Tianlei smiled as he looked at Long Fei with a pleased expression. "I'll go and take care of this on the road. Later, I'll send people to pass down your tasks." With that, he turned and left. Wang Shiyun walked over and said, "How can you agree to listen to his commands? We have mercenary groups like him." She was not convinced. Long Fei said, "His is a rank, but yours is what rank?" Wang Shiyun lowered his head and said, "Level D." Long Fei reprimanded, and said, "Is it really level D?" That day, I already knew the rank of the mercenary group. Wang Shiyun lowered his head even more, and said, "All right, we are at the preparatory level." What is the preparatory level? It was just that there was no level. How could a newly established mercenary group have any levels? Wang Shiyun said firmly, "As long as we complete this mission, we will have enough points to level up, and at that time, we will be level D." Long Fei rolled his eyes at her, and said, "Then why didn't you say you're a king's?" Wang Shiyun muttered, and said, "I want to say king level, but I'm afraid you won't believe me." Long Fei. Long Fei let out a heavy breath. "The world is so beautiful, but I'm actually in such pain. Not good, not good, not good at all." After calming himself down, he said, "From now on, All of you will be under my control. Do you understand? Wang Shiyun said weakly. I am the guild leader. Looking at Long Fei's fierce eyes, he immediately changed his words, and said, as you command. Half an hour later, a Shu's mercenary corps man walked over with a disdainful look on his face. With an aura of superiority, he said, our guild leader has ordered for you to send one person. We will send 5 people to form the reconnaissance unit. In 5 minutes. Finished. That person sneered and said, have you decided who to go to? Long Fei looked at Li Yuanba. The Lubi's brain was weak, he was not suitable for opening up a path. Also, the 5 members of the Shu family would definitely trap him, so he could not go. Wang Shiyun. She was just a strong talker, useless. Without waiting for Long Fei's decision, the Ahut took a step forward and said faintly, I'll go. Long Fei asked seriously, can you do it? Ahut looked at the pitch-black forest and said, it should be possible. Long Fei said to the Shu disciple, you can go back first, I'll send someone over later. That Shu family disciple coldly snorted and said, hurry. No one has even set up a mercenary group. What a shame. Long Fei didn't bother about a fly, walked to Ahut's side, took out 10 high-grade healing pills, and said, take these pills. Be careful. If you can't win, run. Don't be afraid of losing face. Also, you have to be especially careful of the Shu family. Ahut didn't accept the pill but was still very grateful in his heart and said, I can do it without a pill. Long Fei stuffed the medicinal pellet into his hands and said, I told you to take it, so take it. Ahut said heavily, thank you. Hey. If you ever mentioned the word thank me to me again in the future, you wouldn't be my, Long Fei's, brothers. Long Fei shouted, he looked at the Ahut and said sternly, no matter what happens, do not be afraid. Leave everything to me. Ahut nodded and said, I'll go. In his heart, he wasn't resisting Long Fei. But Long Fei had not yet walked into his heart. In other words, the task of taming Ahut was yet to be completed. Long Fei was not in a hurry, there was still time. The 5 of them quickly entered the dark forest. Shu Tianlei also said loudly, we will enter in 10 minutes. Long Fei muttered, I hope something has happened. Li Yuanba laughed foolishly, boss, don't worry, nothing will happen to all 3. Long Fei looked at Li Yuanba. He had yet to understand why Li Yuanba acted like this the moment he saw the Ahut, so he asked, how do you know? Li Yuanba said to Long Fei in a low voice, boss, old third is very strong. Huh. Long Fei looked at Li Yuanba's serious expression, and thought, could it be that he has the ability to see other people's true strength? Even the Yang Huang ancestor couldn't see through it, so how could he see through it? Was it his God-Eater ability? Or the ability of the divine spirit blood vein? 10 minutes later, Shu Tianlei once again mounted the scorching tiger, and loudly said, come out. Everyone entered the dark forest. There were Shu's mercenary corps' special markings all along the way. He did not encounter any demon beast. This was only the periphery of the forest, so the absence of demon beast was also within reason. The further in he went, the harder it became. The aura here was different from other mountain ranges as well. The dense aura of darkness was like death, hell, gloom, and also the aura of devils. After walking for about 2 hours, the corpse of a level 1 monster appeared. It had just been killed not long ago. Shu Tianlei slightly reminded him, and said, be extra careful. Right now, we are entering the territory where dark demon beast roam about, and there might be one or a group of demon beast rushing out at any time. He was experienced and soon felt that the atmosphere here was different from the one outside the forest. Long Fei said in a low voice, Yuan Ba, you are in charge of protecting the guild leader and the employer, no matter who it is, including Shu Tianlei and the others. If anyone dared to touch you, with a single word, kill. Li Yuanba nodded his head heavily. The jungle was getting denser and the visibility was getting dimmer. It was basically the same as the night. Everyone was moving forward relying on their cultivation level and eyesight. Suddenly, in front of him, there was a flock of flying beasts. There's a problem. And in that instant, Long Fei ran out. Shu Tianlei's voice sunk as he shouted, What are you trying to do? You're not allowed to go. Long Fei completely ignored him. The corner of Shu Tianlei's mouth lifted, and he did not stop them either. He said with a cold smile, "Right now, it's already over. If you rush over, your people might already have gone to see Hades. Heh. You want to play with me? I'll play you to death." Strongest upgrade system. Shu Tianlei had been thinking of a way to deal with Long Fei from the very beginning, since the dark forest was the best place. However, Long Fei ran several hundred meters away and stood in place in a daze. With his mouth agape, his heart was set ablaze. Chapter 38_841923566636. In front of his eyes. In front of his eyes. In his hand was a magical staff. King Kong Exorcism Wand. The aura emitted from his body was completely different from that of an ordinary martial artist, as if it was the power of Buddhist light. It was also like the power of purification. None of this is the point. The point was, with him at the center, a circle of demon beast was poured onto the ground. Moreover, these dark demon beast all died in one move. One of them was a level 5 dark demon beast. It was a very terrifying power. The 5 members of the Shu mercenaries were dumbfounded as they fell to the ground, paralyzed. "No. Don't kill me. Don't kill me." There was no killing intent in Ahat's eyes. Instead, his pupils suddenly shrank as he saw Long Fei, who was not far away. Zhong Xian's face tightened. Somewhat panickedly, he quickly wrapped the King Kong Exorcism Wand in a robe. The moment he was wrapped up, he returned to his weak and fragile appearance. One day, one flaw after another. 2 completely different people. The breath that had been released just a moment ago had even shocked Long Fei. But now, there was no aura at all. Long Fei asked, "Has Ancestor seen it clearly?" The Yang Huang ancestor thought for a moment, then said, "The power of the evil killing, the King Kong Exorcism Wand in his hands, he is the reincarnation of the Holy Buddha, but all of his power came from that magic staff. His own strength is too weak, and he can't even control the magic staff's strength. Kid, you must not let him find out the next time you go insane. Otherwise, it would be impossible to subdue him. If the power of the Holy Buddha in his body is released, then that would be interesting, hihi. Reincarnation of the Holy Buddha?" Long Fei's heart trembled, and thought to himself, "Good fellow. Is this the power of a demon fighter?" Long Fei was excited. Looking at the Ahat felt the same way as looking at Li Yuanba. Hong Tianjun had the Sky Sect. They were extremely powerful. Hong Tianjun was the #1 genius of the South Horizon region. The way of the sword. His martial arts attainments were invincible. Long Fei didn't have anything. Long family was still at the young bird stage, unable to fight against the Heaven Sect. If Long Fei wanted to completely crush Hong Tianjun with just his cultivation alone, that was not enough. He needed even more power, his power. If all 8 of them were gathered together. If I awaken them all. This power was too powerful, too arrogant, and too tyrannical. Think about it. Long Fei brought the 8 great King Kong to stand at the gates of the Heaven Sect for a moment, then looked at the scene in front of them. He was so handsome that he fell to the ground. Long Fei stared at the Ahat like a gay man. Ahat was a bit embarrassed. "Long Fei!" Wang Shiyun's shout came from behind him. Long Fei also quickly regained his composure, pretended that he didn't see anything and said, "I didn't see anything. We have nothing. Nothing." The 5 of them looked at more things than Long Fei ever had seen. Their pupils were unfocused, and they were probably scared to death, directly becoming stupefied. Shu Tianlei and the rest caught up, and asked the surrounding demon beast and the 5 Shu family disciples while looking at them, "What's going on?" "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything. Ah. I don't know. Ah. Almost at the same time. The 5 disciples who were at the peak of the war chief crawled up at the same time, and crazily rushed into the dark forest. It didn't matter how Shu Tianlei tried to stop him. Half a minute later, a disciple was torn apart by a dark demon beast. Shu Tianlei's eyes were filled with fury as he suddenly moved and landed in front of the Arhat. The aura on his body fiercely rushed out and directly blasted the Arhat flying. Bam! The Arhat flew a few meters and fell to the ground. Shu Tianlei took another step forward and asked solemnly, "Speak, what happened just now?" Li Yuanba was immediately enraged. He bellowed, "You dare bully old third, I will kill you." Arhat looked at Long Fei. Long Fei grabbed Li Yuanba and said with a sunken voice, "I'm here, what are you afraid of?" Finished. Long Fei's figure suddenly appeared beside Arhat and helped him up from the ground and said, "What? Didn't you see? Your people have gone insane from the fear of Demon Beast. What a class mercenary group, what Tianyun City's #1 legion, they are just that kind of trash, to be scared of other Demon Beast, they are really useless." Long Fei laughed in disdain. Shu Tianlei was enraged. His eyes darkened as he stared at Long Fei and said, "Brat, say it again if you dare." Long Fei's heart trembled when he looked at Shu Tianlei, because, from his gaze, he felt that Shu Tianlei had probably become bewitched too. However, so what if he was bewitched? Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest. He coldly snorted and said, "So what if I say it 10 times? Shu Tianlei, if you dare touch my people again, I will, die, you." A powerful qi burst out from Long Fei's body. He really wasn't afraid of Shu Tianlei. It was also at this moment. The staff on Arhat's back suddenly started trembling lightly. Shu Tianlei glared angrily at Long Fei as his eyes twitched. He was filled with killing intent. Killing intent rose in the heart of Tianyun City. If it wasn't for the fact that he was worried about the mission given by the Shadow Devil, he would have done it already. The magic staff on Arhat's back trembled even more violently. The sound of the King Kong ring striking against the staff was extremely intense. The aura in the dark forest also became strange. Suddenly, a dark violent bear rushed out. After one violent bear rushed out, the surroundings were densely packed with dark demon beast. Shu Tianlei's eyes darkened, and he shouted, "Attack by a group of demon beast, defend." "Kid, don't be too arrogant." Long Fei grinned, "Arrogant is my personality. If you're not happy, then let's fight." "Humph. There will be a day like that." Shu Tianlei's toes lightly touched the ground, and instantly landed on the back of the raging tiger. He took out a golden blade and shouted, "Defend." The King Kong exorcism wand on the back of the Arhat was still crazily trembling. His face was also filled with shock. He looked at Long Fei, a little at a loss. Long Fei slightly said, "Don't worry, no one will dare to touch you." At the same time, Long Fei shouted loudly and said, "Captain, take good care of your employer. Yuan Ba. Get ready to fight." Li Yuanba grinned and laughed simple-mindedly. "I've long been unable to endure my hunger and thirst, ha ha ha." Finished. With both of his hands, he pulled up a towering tree beside him and fiercely threw it out. "I'll smash you guys to death." The entire Shu's mercenary corps was scared silly. The heck? What kind of power was this? He was simply a monster. Li Yuanba easily followed Long Fei and rushed out. Long Fei grabbed with his right hand, summoned his dragon Salia, and laughed in disdain. "The best defense is to attack." Baidu search, half afloat at this time. Arhat still didn't move. The demon fighter Vajra staff on his back was still vibrating heavily. Finally, he suddenly shouted, "There's magic." Chapter 48_841923566637. He was about to lose control of the King Kong exorcism wand. He was about to lose control of the King Kong exorcism wand. The tremors were too great. It was almost out of his control. Long Fei was shocked. Looking at the Arhat's painful expression, his heart sank a little as he thought to himself, "Ancestor, is there any way to help him?" The Yang Huang ancestor said, "The reincarnation of the Holy Buddha, the heart of devils, his appearance is precisely to exterminate the devils in this world. It should be said that this is the goal of the King Kong exorcism wand. He's different. You can't help him. He must learn to control it himself, not by the King Kong exorcism wand. He can only rely on himself." Long Fei beheaded a dark demon beast with a single slash. His body moved, and with a flip of his body, he stood in front of Arhat, and said, Arhat, listen to me. Don't let the external force control you. The more external force wants to control you, the more you will have to resist, not follow the flow. You have to learn how to control the external force. Do you understand? Arhat's face was pale and he said with a trembling voice, there's a demon, and a demon is approaching. Kill, kill, kill. I don't want to kill. It was painful. This kind of pain was something that no one else could understand. Long Fei looked at Arhat. He couldn't hear anything that Arhat was saying. Long Fei's idea sunk. The idea entered the Arhat's body. The Yang Huang ancestor was shocked, and said, Brat, you are courting death. Do you know what kind of power the Holy Buddha's power is? Do you know how strong King Kong exorcism wand are? Quickly take back the idea. Long Fei didn't listen at all. Since he was sure that Arhat was one of his 8 great Vajra, he could risk his life to help him. Yang Huang ancestor said, this is crazy. The last time I devoured hundreds of your spirit stones, I wanted to say that I could increase my soul remembrance's power a little, but now I have returned it to you. Buzz. Amongst the broken pubes, the energy of a Yang Huang ancestor fused into Long Fei's idea. Next. Long Fei's idea had broken through the door of the idea in Arhat's body, so Long Fei's voice entered deep into his mind, protect your heart firmly. You have to control the King Kong exorcism wand, not be controlled. At this moment, an incomparably huge Buddha emerged from the Arhat's mind, the angry devil Buddha. Humph! Get out! A furious roar. Long Fei's idea had almost vanished into thin air. It was also at this time. A mere reincarnation of a mere holy Buddha dares to be so arrogant in front of this sovereign. Boy, you only need to mind your own business. If anyone dares to touch you, I'll immediately kill them. Arrogant, domineering to the extreme, angry devil Buddha's power moved. Yang Huang ancestor's idea also rushed forward, and the two sides started to battle each other. Time was tight, so Long Fei rushed into the Arhat's mind and said, I will guard it firmly, I will follow my heart and everything will be under your control. Activate the energy within your body. Control the King Kong exorcism wand. Arhat sat cross-legged and said to Long Fei in his heart, I want to live as I will, I don't want to be controlled, I don't want to be a puppet, I don't want to. He had stayed in the Tian Yun city for 3 whole months. He had been patient. The King Kong exorcism wand had always wanted to control him. Let him kill. He didn't even want to kill. Even if he knew the person he wanted to kill was the devil, he didn't want to kill. He resisted for 3 months. Just now. Even though the King Kong exorcism wand were urging him to kill the 5 disciples of the Shu family, he still held it in forcefully. But now. The King Kong exorcism wand sensed that a large group of demon experts were approaching, and couldn't control the demonic god's might. This was the first time such a powerful explosion occurred. It was too hard. He felt as if he was struggling in hell. The first thing he wanted was to live as he pleased. Even if he became an ordinary person. Long Fei said, if you want to live as you wish, then use your power to control everything. You have to let them know that my life is not under the control of the heavens. Ha ha ha. Yang Huang ancestor laughed excitedly. What a great saying, my life is not controlled by the heavens. Your words are too good. Arhat was also silently chanting in his mind, my life is not up to the heavens but to me. My life belongs to me, not to the heavens. My life. He kept repeating the same sentence. At this time, Li Yuanba was already surrounded by hundreds of dark demon beasts and his body was filled with wounds. However, he did not take a step back nor did he let any of them near him. Wang Shiyun also rushed forward, helping to block, and shouted loudly, Shu Tianlei, quickly help. The old ancestor also said, Captain Shu, please go and help. Shu Tianlei laughed proudly. I told you right from the beginning that I would absolutely not protect them, moreover. Didn't that kid just say it? The best defense is offense. Doesn't he like offense? Let him attack. Wang Shiyun said fiercely, despicable. Ha ha ha. Shu Tianlei laughed madly. Despicable? Since you say it's despicable, then I should be even more despicable. Shu Tianlei shouted, "Someone come." A few disciples walked up, holding onto large blades, facing the sneering Xiong Longfei. It was also at this time. A black silhouette landed in front of Wang Shiyun, laughing sinisterly. "Kneel down and beg me, I will save him." Shu Yu. Those dark demon beast did not dare to attack him. The demon qi on his body was too dense. Wang Shiyun looked at the motionless Long Fei and said, "I'm begging you, Shu Yu, make them stop, I'm begging you." Shu Yu laughed, "Kneel down, and beg me." Li Yuanba raged, "Ah!" After dispersing a large wave of demon beast, another large wave of demon beast pounced towards him. He looked at Long Fei and wanted to ask, "Boss, can I use my weapon?" However, he did not ask, because he knew that Long Fei definitely had more important things to attend to. The 5 disciples walked over to Long Fei's side. Shu Yu laughed sinisterly once again, "Kneel down and beg me." Wang Shiyun looked at Long Fei, and then looked at Shu Yu, and nodded, "Okay, I'll kneel down for you." "Ha ha ha." Shu Yu laughed coldly, "Quickly kneel down." Wang Shiyun bent his knees. For Long Fei, she could kneel. No matter whether it was effective or not, even if there was a sliver of hope in front of Shu Yu, she would still kneel down. The 5 disciples deliberately slowed down. Just as Wang Shiyun's knee was still an inch away from the ground. "I kneel to your ancestors for 18 generations. A furious roar rang out. Long Fei's eyes opened wide, and a ruthless qi burst out from his body. The dragon Salya grabbed and swept. Floating life, table of contents, no windows. A++ swoosh swoosh swoosh. 5 heads fell. Long Fei did not stop there. He attacked with his blade at Shu Yu, who was still laughing maniacally. The 5th chapter was sent over. Thank you for your support. 8_841923566638. Laughing at your 8 ancestors. Laughing at your 8 ancestors. As the blade came at him, Long Fei cursed. Shu Yu's eyes turned sinister, the spirit qi on his body also fluctuated, and a ball of dense spirit demon qi rushed towards Xiong Longfei. Long Fei didn't give him any chance. So what if you're a demon? In front of him, even the demon gods would have to get rid of him. The wrath of the dragon god. The dragon Salya released an intense dragon roar, a crazy roar. The bloodlight saber qi slashed down. Kill. Long Fei's body turned into a line as a dragon spirit shadow passed by. Other than making his aura a little stronger, Shu Yu did not react at all. There was no reaction at all. Long Fei stood behind him, retracted her dragon Salya and said, "This is the 3rd time, so you must die." As soon as the word dead faded. Phut. Shu Yu spat out a mouthful of blood, dropped to his knees, turned pale and plopped his head on the ground. He didn't even have time to cry out in pain. Magic. Kill all the same. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Shu Yu, for obtaining an experience point, True Qi 300 points, Energy values 100 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Magic Pill. Pellet, Magic Pill grade, Earth Stage Level 7 description. This is a profound nether pill. When a magic pill enters the body, its life force will burn. It will allow the user's strength to increase rapidly for a period of time. Holy *T. So awesome. Pills can even burn life. What an awesome dog. Long Fei's heart trembled. He finally knew why Shu Yu had suddenly become so strong. It turned out to be a small magic pill that was in effect. The Yang Huang ancestor said, "This is the magic pill, and the demon medicine can also be called berserk core. Their alchemy's main purpose is to fight, and it's not to break through the shackles, the magic pill is to fight. This medicinal pill can instantly increase a person's cultivation by several realms." Hearing Yang Huang ancestor's explanation, Long Fei's heart secretly shivered, and he muttered to himself, "If we can improve on this kind of magic pill, then." There were no side effects of using magic pill. If the user's strength greatly increased and the medicinal effect recovered, there wouldn't be any side effects of igniting their own life force. That would truly be too satisfying. The Yang Huang ancestor said, "It's impossible, Magic pills are 10,000 times more difficult to refine than ordinary pills. The magic pills improvement is even more unbelievable. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, anything is possible in front of me. Ancestor, can you help me list out the types of spirit grass that can be refined with the profound nether pill? Yang Huang Ancestor. Domain. Shu Tianlei was furious. The fiery tiger beneath him roared at Long Fei. Sound wave attack. Long Fei's ears were about to explode from the shock, the anger in his heart boiling. Looking at the surrounding dark demon beast, the idea moved and shouted, ice and fire. Roar! Ice and fire rushed out from the space within the mount. It let out an incomparably large dragon roar, and directly crushed that raging inferno tiger like a dead dog. Moreover, Long Fei yelled again, ice and fire. Roar! With another roar of ice and fire, blood started to flow from the eyes, ears, noses, and mouth of the fierce tiger who was riding on the peak of the third-rank mount that Shu Tianlei was riding on. Dead. After that, she stared at Shu Tianlei with her fire and ice savage eyes, turned around and rushed into the sky, heavily landing beside Long Fei. Long Fei laughed coldly, you dare be so arrogant in front of me? Shu Tianlei, is this great? Tianyun City's only mount, a third-level peak demon beast, was directly crushed to death. The surrounding dark demon beast ran even faster than ghosts and disappeared in almost an instant. Whether it was the dark demon beast or the normal demon beast, they were all afraid of dragons. Dragons were the strongest creatures in the world. They were born to be feared by any demon beast because they were the kings of demon beast. A real king. Shu Tianlei's face turned extremely pale, as he was in extreme pain. Facing the crushing pressure of ice and fire, he actually couldn't move at all. Long Fei's heart was also shaken. The ice and fire have leveled up again. It seems like those spirit stones have not been wasted. Compared to a few days ago, the fire and ice had grown in size, and the dragon aura on its body had become thicker. Its tyrannical aura had also become stronger. It was obvious that it had leveled up. Long Fei took a step forward and smiled. Shu Tianlei, are you going to continue playing? Shu Tianlei gritted his teeth until it made a cracking sound. The anger on his body flared up without restraint, and stared at Long Fei gloomily. At the beginning, he had never placed Long Fei in his eyes before, but now, he was not confident. Even if Long Fei was at the war chief realm level of cultivation, he was not confident. Suddenly, a burly middle-aged man rushed out, coldly snorting, how dare you speak to the captain like that, you're courting death. He took a step forward. A ghost-like blade suddenly came slashing at him. Everyone from the Shu's mercenary corps were overjoyed. This blade has succeeded. Ha ha ha. This kid is dead for sure. If you dare to challenge the Shu's mercenary corps, brat, you're dead for sure. Kill him. Long Fei grinned, so weak. Xiao Bai War Pet Spaces Xiao Bai laughed excitedly. Understood. Without waiting for the blade to strike, a white shadow shot out. Bam! The muscular man flew into the dark forest. Ah! A pig-slaughtering howl sounded out, and then, there was no then. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei. A system announcement sounded out. Long Fei grinned. Continue. Arrogant. Arrogant to the extreme. A Shu's mercenary corps with 300 people and an A-grade army. But now, he was completely crushed, unable to move at all. No one dared to step forward again. As the white silhouette fell, Xiao Bai stood beside Long Fei. Another divine beast. Moreover, Xiao Bai had also leveled up. His aura now was the same as before. Shu Tianlei clenched his fists tightly. He was crushed to the point that it was hard for him to endure, but he was wrong. In the end, he still restrained himself and shouted, bury the young master's body on the spot. While they were talking, Shu Tianlei looked at Long Fei. Long Fei said arrogantly, what? You are not going to continue? Don't you like to play? Don't you think I can't beat you? Continue. One voice after another became crazier and crazier. Shu Tianlei smiled slightly. Brat, don't be too arrogant. There's still a long way to go. Long Fei laughed. I am this arrogant. If you have the guts then come bite me. Shu Tianlei frowned. If he could, he would definitely kill Long Fei right now. However, not now, he wasn't sure. Also, compared to Long Fei, he cared more about the treasures on the old man's body. Endure. When no one was looking, he took the opportunity and swallowed the magic pill. Table of contents, the magic pill entered his body. The aura on Shu Tianlei's body quietly changed. At this time, Arhat's eyes suddenly shook, staring straight at Shu Tianlei. Chapter 18_841923566639. Arhat walked to Long Fei's side and said in a low voice, "He is a demon." Arhat walked to Long Fei's side and said in a low voice, "He is a demon." Long Fei did not have any changes. "Your son is a demon, how can your father not be a demon?" Obviously. Shu Tianlei had just consumed the Xianming devil pill, and the aura on his body abruptly changed. Also, Long Fei's heart tensed up. The strength of the Xianming devil pill increased greatly after Shu Yu consumed it. Killing him in an instant was a very normal thing, but where's Shu Tianlei? He was a war master ream cultivator. If he were to use Xianming devil pill and level up to war emperor realm, then Long Fei thought in his heart, looks like I have to be more careful in the future. The war emperor realm. It wasn't something that could be killed so easily. Even if Long Fei possessed a second-level Wushuang now, he did not have absolute confidence. In Shenzhen sect, it was because Wu Haotian looked down on him. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to kill Wu Haotian. This was the barrier of the war emperor realm, and Long Fei had not completely crossed it. All along the way, Arhat had been staring at Shu Tianlei. He had a nagging feeling that there was a power in Arhat's eyes that was able to pierce through his body, and it was extremely uncomfortable. This feeling only existed after he had consumed the magic pill. Half a month passed. They had already gone deep into the depths of the dark forest. Demon beasts were becoming rarer as well, but every time they met a powerful level 5 demon beast. All of these demon beasts were taken by Long Fei alone. He continued to kill. His experience points was also rising rapidly. All along the way, Shu Tianlei had kept his mouth shut, and did not dare to make the slightest movement towards Long Fei. However, he was waiting. He would definitely take revenge for his son's death. At night, they set up a bonfire. The old man said slightly, "Tomorrow, I will enter the dark canyon. After walking through the dark canyon for another 10 days, I will be able to leave the dark forest, which means I will be able to enter the Sea Devil Emperor's territory." Shu Tianlei was overjoyed as he said softly, "The dark canyon is a heavenly danger. Once we enter, even if we encounter a slightly fiercer demon beast, I would probably suffer heavy casualties." He arrived at the agreed location with the shadow devil. The old man said, "I also know this, but there is only one path that can be taken." Long Fei replied, "Not really. If you are willing, I will let the ice and fire carry you there. There is no need to go through all that trouble." Long Fei said, "It was just a natural risk, so wouldn't it be fine to just fly over?" It was dangerous. Did he have to call them to leave? Isn't this asking for trouble? It was just like Journey to the West. It was something that could be solved with a single somersault. Where did he want this place to be? Where did he get this place to cause so many things? The old man shivered. Shu Tianlei said in disdain, "Do you know how long the dark canyon is? Do you think it will be that easy to fly over the dark canyon? If I could fly, could I not think of it?" Long Fei also disdainfully said, "If 1 time won't work, then 2 times won't work, 2 times won't work, 3 times won't work. Since you know it's a heavenly risk, then why don't you go challenge it? Isn't that just courting death?" The old man quickly replied, "Dark Canyon is the center of the dark forest. It is also a natural barrier of the Sea Devil Emperor. If we can fly over it, then it wouldn't be a natural barrier." Long Fei looked at the old man and asked, "What's on top of Dark Canyon?" The old man said, "In the Dark Crow King's territory, no one can fly over there, not even your dragon." Dark Crow King? Long Fei's heart trembled, and he thought to himself, listening to the name, it's a boss. Shu Tianlei sneered, "Ignorant and ignorant." Long Fei glared and said, "What if I fly over?" Shu Tianlei immediately said, Brat, if you can fly over, then I, Shu Tianlei, will immediately disband the mercenary group and withdraw from Tianyun City, and rely on you. Humph. Brat, I didn't say that. Forget about a low-level dragon, even a divine dragon can't fly to Dark Canyon. Others might not know, but he knew it very well. Because he had seen the Raven King before. An expert of war Emperor Realm was instantly killed. No one could defeat him. Above the Dark Canyon was the Dark Peak and also the lair of the Raven King. It would not allow anyone to fly into its immediate vicinity. The moment it appeared, it would die. Long Fei looked at Shu Tianlei. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for coming across the quest spying on Dark Peak. Mission, spying on the Dark Peak level, a time, 1 day reward, 200,000 experience, 10,000 true chi, 1,000 points. Obtaining an S-rank score will allow one to obtain a free lottery draw. Shu Tianlei laughed disdainfully. From the looks of it, you already know that you don't dare. Don't think that just because you have 2 divine beast pets by your side you are nothing out of the ordinary. I have seen many people like you. Most people die tragically in the end. You have to learn to keep a low profile, do you understand? He was angering Long Fei. With Long Fei's age of vigor, it was very easy for him to be infuriated. Long Fei smiled slightly, dismissed the mercenary group and left the Tianyun City, right? You said so yourself. I've been tricked. Shu Tianlei was overjoyed and immediately said, I am the one who said it. As long as you can fly over the Dark Canyon, I will immediately disperse the Shu's mercenary corps and leave the Tianyun City. I, Shu Tianlei, will keep my promise. He was secretly delighted in his heart. Once you leave, no one can stop me here anymore. Heh. Wait until I get that treasure, then I'll come back and deal with you. Boy, even if you don't die, you won't be able to live. Long Fei said, then it's a deal. I'll be waiting for you at the entrance to the canyon. Finished. Long Fei left. He was not an idiot. He would not be angered just because of a few words from Shu Tianlei. He was very clear that the reason why the 8 great demon sects did not attack them along the way was because they were waiting. Waiting for the perfect time. Or perhaps he was waiting for a perfect location. The Dark Canyon is it. If he were to hide, it would change from passive to active, from a cicada to a yellow sparrow. Moreover, from the feeling he gave Long Fei, the employer elder was definitely not someone to be trifled with. He clearly knew that Shu Yu had become a demon by devouring magic pill, and Shu Tianlei must definitely be related to some devil sect. The Shu's mercenary corps did not trust him, but he still insisted on leaving the Dark Canyon. Is he a pig? No, he definitely had his own plans. Moreover, he believed that the power that would help him would definitely be able to bring him out of Dark Canyon. Therefore, he did not expose Shu Tianlei. This way, if Long Fei hid himself, then it would be even better. Long Fei acted like he was being arrogant and stood up, and said, you guys watch this for me, I'll definitely fly over, humph. With that, he left in anger. The old man's eyes narrowed as he thought, it's good for him to leave. Shu Tianlei, on the other hand, disdained him in his heart, and said, to become so arrogant and conceited with just a slight provocation, you truly are brainless trash. Long Fei walked over to the side of Wang Shiyun and the other 2. He whispered a few words in a low voice. Table of contents. Wang Shiyun frowned. There are Dark Crow King-s above Dark Peak. You must be careful. Long Fei laughed. Don't worry. And then, Long Fei said, remember what I said. Chapter 28_841923566640. Ice and fire, let's go. Ice and fire, let's go. Long Fei stood on the body of the fire and ice, soared into the sky, and instantly disappeared into the darkness. Shu Tianlei looked in the direction Long Fei disappeared to and laughed. The old man also looked at the night sky, his eyes expressionless. Light this up. In the middle of the night, Shu Tianlei took out a special signal detonator and placed it in Shu Jianshan's hand, saying, once you're done counting, you can leave. Shu Jianshan nodded, and said, understood. Big brother, now that brat has left, why didn't he attack Wang Shiyun? Once Long Fei left, the three of them would no longer pose any threat to them. Shu Tianlei laughed coldly. There's no rush, big matters are now more important. Tomorrow after entering the valley, you and fourth bro will have to stare at the old man closely. The item is on his body, and if we succeed this time, our Shu's mercenary corps will have no problem breaking through to the king realm. Shu Tianlei became excited. The night passed in silence. The morning of the second day, the procession punctually entered Dark Canyon. What surprised Shu Tianlei was that Wang Shiyun and the others did not stay by the old man's side. They guarded the entire way, and after entering the canyon, they gave up. Shu Tianlei thought in his heart, at least you guys are sensible. The old man was aware of this, but he did not reveal it. And then there was Long Fei. He did not go to any dark peak. Compared to the Dark Crow King, he was more concerned with the God's Devil Lute, God's Devil Blade, God's Devil Blood, these things. He rode the fire and ice into the darkness and immediately fell into a trance. Become a demon. Hidden his aura, he quietly followed behind. For an A-level mission, giving up was equivalent to giving up. Even if they could get an S-level score, it would only be another chance at a lottery. God's Devil Lute, the God's Devil Blade sounded like holy artifact S. Moreover, his three-blade stream was still missing a blade, so the God's Devil Blade might be able to become the third blade. The mantis stalks the cicada, and the yellow sparrow follows. The yellow sparrow was in front while the hunter was behind. It's no use being a oriole. You have to learn to be a hunter. The cold wind gusting in the dark canyon was like bursts of muffled thunder. Other than the sound of the cold wind, there was no other sound in the valley. Suddenly, Shu Tianlei suddenly shouted, "Stop! Something's wrong." He pretended to be enigmatic as he walked over to the old man. "There is a situation up ahead. Why don't we stop here?" The old man firmly said, "Continue moving forward. You are not allowed to stop." Shu Tianlei said, "This is not good, Dark Canyon is too dangerous, we should just take it step by step. I'm the employer. If I say you can't stop, then you can't." The old man was somewhat anxious. Shu Tianlei said, "You are indeed an employer, but I am in charge of this time. I must consider the lives of my brothers, unless you can tell me what it is that you have with you." The elder's eyebrows furrowed as he asked, "What do I have on me?" "Why, Captain Shu, do you want it too?" Shu Tianlei slightly said, "All of our Shu's mercenary corps focus on missions, I just do not want our lives to be sacrificed for nothing." The old man said, "Don't worry, I will definitely let you see when we reach Sea Devil Emperor, but not here, of course, and I order you to move forward." Old fox. Shu Tianlei's face turned sinister. "Are you just not willing to say it out loud?" The more the old man spoke, the more he felt that this was a good thing that could allow him to soar into the heavens. Shu Tianlei slightly said, "Since you insist on it, we will do as you say. But if anything happens, I am not responsible. Come out." Before he could finish his words, rumble, rumble. A loud sound echoed from the entrance of the canyon. A disciple of the Shu family quickly ran over and said, "Captain, the mountain has collapsed. The entrance has been blocked off." Shu Tianlei frowned. He thought to himself, "Is Master Shadow Devil going to make his move?" The elder was also secretly anxious as he said, "All of you, advance." "Forward what? I have been waiting for you here for a long time, Yinmo." Suddenly, a group of people emerged from the other end. One of the 8 great demon sects, the Blood Moon sect. At this moment, the King Kong exorcism wand on Arhat's back started to tremble violently. The only difference from the last time was that his expression was very calm. The old man frowned and said, "I don't know what you're talking about." It was all for the Blood Moon Black Deacon, Yi Tianhan. He stared at the old man coldly and smiled faintly. "You don't have to pretend in front of me, do you? No matter how good your disguise or how deep your disguise is, you have already revealed your true colors in front of my Blood Moon sect. Yin Mo from Blood Sea sect. A remnant of the demonic sect. Hand over all the items from the God's Devil Ancestor. On the account of the God's Devil Ancestor, I will spare your life." His voice was ice cold. Shu Tianlei was a little confused. Could it be that the frail old man beside him was not an elder of the High Tian Merchant Union? How did he become the Yin Mo of the Blood Sea sect? What was going on? I don't understand. He didn't understand at all. Wang Shiyun and the others were also stunned. Li Yuanbar muttered, "Isn't the devil race too complicated? How come their employers turned into demons?" Ha 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 ha. The old man laughed sinisterly. "Black Deacon, I didn't think that you would bring the Blood Moon Mirror here. Your sect master has really put in a lot of effort." Blood Moon Mirror. As long as the Blood Moon Mirror carried with it the existence of a demonic mirror, it would be able to sense any kind of demonic aura. The corners of Black Deacon's mouth turned cold, and he laughed lightly. "It's good that you know this. Obediently hand over the magic box, and I will spare your life." The old man sneered. "With just you?" "Not yet." Black Deacon frowned, his killing intent rising as he said, "I'll let you know what qualifications are." As soon as his voice faded, the disciples of the Blood Moon sect moved in unison. All the people he brought out this time were the elite disciples of the War Master Reem, and he himself was at the first level of the War Emperor. Yo! They're already fighting over them? Didn't the Blood Moon sect say they won't participate in this contest? Black Elder, you really are one man, one woman. A soft voice rang out. Black Deacon immediately shouted, "Protect your heart and close your ears." His voice carried a demon note that seeped into the hearts of humans. The King Kong exorcism wand on Ahut's back started to tremble even more violently. The diamond rings clashed together as if about to go berserk. Shu Tianlei also suddenly shouted out, "Quickly cover your ears." However, his reaction was too slow. Ha ha ha, ha ha. More than half of the Shu disciples started to madly laugh. Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life strongest upgrade system demon note entered his heart. His mind was in a mess, he was crazy. One was stronger than the other. A group of peerless girls walked out from within the gorge. They wore very little clothes, and each one of them was a devastatingly beautiful beauty. Chapter 38_841923566641. Evil Sound Sect, one of the 8 great demon sects. Evil Sound Sect, one of the 8 great demon sects. They were all women's sects. They were proficient in demon note attacks. The moment the demon note entered their bodies, it would be controlled by them. In addition to their impeccable looks and charming eyes, it was much easier to control the men. The laughing disciples of the Shu family had already become their puppets. As long as they needed it, they could attack with all they had. The lady in charge was called Xie, the only disciple of the Evil Sound Sect's sect master, and also the great elder of the Evil Sound Sect, had an extremely strong cultivation. Xie smiled slightly. "Master Yin Mo, our Evil Sound Sect does not want anything else. As long as it is a god's devil lute, this Guqin was once made jointly by us and the ancestors of the Evil Sound clan. It belongs to our Evil Sound Sect itself." "Humph. What do you mean by refining together? It seems that you, the ancestor Xie Yin, shamelessly begged the god's devil ancestor to refine it." Black Deacon sneered. The old man said, "It seems you know what is in the box." The Black Deacon laughed. "God's devil blood, God's devil lute, God's devil blade, 3 magic Buddhist relics. Yin Mo, you don't have to hide anything anymore. Who doesn't know about this? The 8 great demon sects have already spread word of it. Do you really think you can hide it from us?" Then, Black Deacon looked at his surroundings and said, "Don't hide anymore. Is there any meaning in hiding? Since you're already here, why do you need to hide anymore?" As soon as he finished, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, the people hidden in the darkness of the canyon had all come out. The 8 great demon sects were all gathered. Blood Moon Sect, Evil Sound Sect, Blood Refinement Sect, Blood Sea Sect, Mountain Sea Sect, Ghost Evil. All of them appeared. In a few minutes, the entire canyon was crowded to the point that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Shu Tianlei landed on a person's body. The Shadow Devil of the Mountain and Sea Sect. "Yin Mo, since you already know about it, then let's talk about it on the table." You don't want to keep everything that God's devil ancestor left to you, right? That's right, the God's devil ancestor was once our demon lord. We demons have a share of his possessions. Divided. Divided. Divide. How? The 8 great forces only have 4 items, how can we split them? No matter what you say, my God's devil lute will definitely belong to my evil sound sect. Only my evil sound sect will be able to release its power, and only then will we be able to deal with the sect. Xiechin, if you say it like that, then I even said that the God's devil blade would belong to my Bloodsea sect. If your evil sound sect obtains the God's devil lute, then what? The 8 great powers quickly started quarreling. Li Yuanba said naively, it's exactly as boss expected. Wang Shiyun said, we must not move recklessly, wait for Long Fei to come back. Xu Tianlei was also secretly a fool. He thought that only the Mountain Sea sect's Shadow Devil had returned, he never thought that all 8 demon sects would come, then this time. His heart tensed up. At the same time, he approached Yin Mo and asked, what do we do? While they were talking, he looked at Xu Jianshan and Xu Tianshan. The 2 of them nodded slightly. They couldn't deal with the 8 demon sects, but as long as Yin Mo was in his hands, then nothing would be a problem. Yin Mo's voice sank and said slightly, since you all know that this is a treasure left behind by the God's devil ancestor, then you all should know that this is not for you all. Not waiting for him to finish. Everyone was furious. Not for us. Did I leave it for you alone? Yin Mo, don't say that you don't have any greed for them. What are you planning to do by bringing them to the Sea Devil Emperor? Could it be that you want to worship in the demonic temple? Humph. You are the most cunning old fox of the demons, and no one can trust you. What's more, God's devil ancestor has died for so many years, and not a single corpse is left. So what if we rob him of his things? Can he climb up from the underworld to bite us? In the process of their argument, it was unknown who said this from the crowd, let's fight. It's up to who's stronger. It was not loud. However, it was very clear and almost everyone heard it. Li Yuanba's heart trembled, and he thought to himself, why does this sound a little like boss? It was also at this moment. Everyone became alert and took out their weapons at the same time. Fight me. Whoever wins will take care of him. You're right. This is a world where the strong are respected. Whoever is strong enough will be able to obtain everything. Come on. Come on. They continued to clamor. No one was stupid, and no one wanted to fight first. Fighting first would definitely lead to public outrage, and could even lead to a group attack. This was rather disadvantageous for them. Still can't fight. Long Fei, who was hiding amongst the disciples of the demon sect, cursed in his heart, Mother ***, a bunch of trash. If they're not going to fight, then what the hell are you guys doing? He was the one who said that. He thought it would happen at once. It was unexpected that these demonic factions had yet to start fighting. However, they were all quite tense, and as long as there was even the slightest bit of stimulation, they would all be engaged in a chaotic battle. What could excite them? Long Fei thought about it again and again, and then silently said to himself, I have to do something, or else. How can a hunter like me benefit from this? Being among the demons was like gaining some benefits. He did not care about God's devil ancestor or the 8 great demon sects. What he wanted was experience. It's the true chi. Of course, it would be better if he could get something from the God's devil ancestor. If the entire valley was filled with disciples of the devil sect and all of them were killed, the total amount of EXP would definitely be raised by 1 or 2 levels. Long Fei retreated a few steps. One of the devil sect disciples asked in a low voice, the fight is about to start, where are you going? Long Fei said in a low voice, I'm too nervous, go take a piss first, don't be unable to hold it in later. The person said, I also need to pee. Let's go together. Long Fei was startled for a moment, and then said, okay. The 2 of them sneakily retreated into the darkness, then the demon disciples immediately untied their belts, looked at Long Fei and asked, Brother, which elder's disciple are you? Why have I never seen you before? Long Fei laughed foolishly and said, I belong to. He walked forward. With his right hand grabbing, he He took out the dragon salya and hacked down. Crack! His head was broken and he was still pissing in the air. Long Fei retracted his dragon salya and said disdainfully, "Aren't you courting death?" And then Long Fei summoned his ice and fire and said, "Ice and fire, dark peak. Xiao Bai, you stay behind to protect them." As soon as he finished, ice and fire soared into the sky. Something had to be done. Long Fei didn't even have the patience. What devil sect disciples? They didn't have the impulsiveness that a demon should have and had to give them something to provoke. They had to get excited. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to fight until next year. Chapter 48_841923566642. They all had their own misgivings. They all had their own misgivings. With the fall of a heavenly demon, the strength of the South Horizon region's demons had fallen by 100,000 feet. After being crushed by the orthodox sects, the territory was constantly shrinking. These years, the demon's strength didn't have a single powerhouse carrying the flag, and the whole demons remained scattered. Long Fei had nothing to do with any of these. Whether it was the demons or the orthodox sects, he only had one goal: to level up his experience. They had all been stuck in Dark Canyon, cursing and swearing at the top of their lungs. Just like that, they didn't have the slightest bit of energy. He wanted to do something exciting. What kind of stimulation was the Dark Canyon? Dark Crow King. This boss was definitely exciting. As long as he provoked this guy, he believed that he would definitely be able to make the Devil Sect disciples happy. Boom! At the peak of Dark Peak, a muffled thunder exploded in Long Fei's sea of consciousness. Long Fei's body sank. "Lowly human, you dare to approach my territory? You're courting death." The pressure was as heavy as a mountain and Long Fei was almost crushed to the point of lying on his stomach. It was extremely uncomfortable. His voice was like thunder as he said in a wild voice, "Grandson, today is the day you die." As soon as his voice faded, the sky suddenly turned dark, as if it was enveloped by darkness in an instant. Bing Hua was secretly shocked. "Master, it's dangerous." If even the flames and ice felt that it was dangerous, then this Raven King must be extremely fierce. Long Fei asked, "Can you see the Raven King?" "We'll talk about it after we blast him." Bing Hua was stunned. "Isn't this too crazy?" In the tens of thousands of years since the Raven King had taken control of the Dark Forest, his cultivation had probably already reached an extremely terrifying level. Bing Hua was excited as well. "I think of a way, get ready." Long Fei said, "You be careful too." Since he was already here, he had to first blast him a few times. He wanted to see just what level this Raven King was at and how much health he had. At the very least, he had a certain level of confidence. If there was a chance, then he would ruthlessly kill him. "Crow King, UF*K, come out if you have the guts." "You're still saying that I'm petty? In my opinion, you're the lowliest thing in the world and you don't even dare to come out. What's the use of saying that? Come out." Long Fei clamored. Yang Huang Ancestor said lightly, "It came out long ago, and it's right above your head." Long Fei slightly raised his eyes, almost peeing from fright. Two gigantic black eyes were staring at him coldly. An incomparably huge crow, so big that it was hard to describe, had actually appeared before the level 9 demon beast, but its shock was not even 1 in 10,000. The Yang Huang Ancestor said, "This Crow King is about to become intelligent soon. He has a special kind of power on him. If you can tame him, his power can bring you into the underworld. Of course, he needs to break through to the next level. If he breaks through another level, he will evolve into a 9 secret underworld finches." 9 secret underworld finches? Long Fei secretly thought, why does this name sound a little familiar? It seems to be something that appeared in that novel. F***CK. You still care about that now? Long Fei immediately roared and said angrily, "Ice and fire, it's above our heads." The fire and ice also sunk and raised their heads. Enough distance. Ding. Target locked. Long Fei instantly released the joint attack skill Ice and Fire 9 Heavens, Burning Ice and Fire Prairie. Thunder raged above the 9 heavens. A laser beam shot down and landed directly on the Crow King's body. However, it did not pierce through the Raven King's body. Moreover, what made Long Fei incomparably gloomy was, he actually gave it to Mises. This, the Ice and Fire Nine Heavens, any expert below the War Emperor realm level can kill them instantly, but not a single feather fell from the cannon. On top of his head appeared another English word, miss. It was truly taking one's life. Bing Hua was also dumbfounded. She immediately became angry and asked, Master, with my current cultivation level, I can open the second layer. Should I? Long Fei did not wait for him to finish. Don't want it anymore, fleeing now is more important. Dark Crow King was furious. Damn human, go to hell. The sound was as if the heavens were splitting apart. An enormous amount of darkness energy came crushing down. If he did not leave soon, Long Fei's little life would end here. He finally knew what Dark Crow King was. He finally knew how terrifying this guy was. It was the miss. Just thinking about it made Long Fei's scalp tingle, but he had achieved his goal. Ding. Spying on the dark peak, mission completed. Ding. Quest score. D level. As long as you can complete the mission, you can go to hell with the task score. Long Fei cursed and said to Ice and Fire, don't worry about anything else, just focus on charging into the canyon. Ice and Fire said, understood. Dark Crow King was incomparably furious and no one had dared to anger him for all these years. Today, he was definitely going to teach Long Fei a lesson. Darkness flames. Rumble. Flames filled the sky, crazily burning. Long Fei immediately merged into the mind of the Ice and Fire, and ordered, right side. To the left. Slow down for a bit. Hurry, hurry, hurry. If you don't hurry up, we'll burn our butts. At the same time, Long Fei said to Li Yuanbar via sound transmission, Yuan Ba, protect them well, I'm coming. Ding. Do you want to return to your original body? Yes, sir. Long Fei had reverted back to his original body's appearance, so he didn't have anything to worry about anymore. Looking at the black mass of Dark Canyon, he could tell from afar that they were still arguing about something. Huff. Ice and Fire. Long Fei moved. Burn them all. Understood. Ice and fire surged from his throat as flames roared. Like a fire dragon, it charged out and exploded within the canyon. Greater than sign. A large amount of damage floated up. However, that's not enough. Long Fei said again, Ice Sword attack. Attack those devil sect disciples behind you. Understood. The ice and fire attribute turned and sucked in a large mouthful of air, condensing the water in the air into an ice sword and wildly shooting down. Another wave of damage. Long Fei did not need to be killed instantly, nor did he need to suffer any heavy injuries. All he needed was a little bit of damage, because there was a huge fellow following behind him. As long as he attacked and was killed, he would gain the same amount of experience. This was the advantage of the system. The 8 demon sect disciples raised their heads to look at the ice and fire, all of them furious. Xu Tianlei also sneered, coming back at this time is simply courting death. What a brainless trash. It was at this moment. A devil sect disciple suddenly shouted, "What's behind that dragon? Oh my god! Dark Crow King! The Dark Crow King is here. Floating life, table of contents, no windows." At the same time, Long Fei madly roared at the Dark Crow King. "Grandson, let me say, it's time for your death, right? The entire valley is filled with my people, kill me if you dare." The demons in the canyon were all dumbfounded. Chapter 5. Monthly tickets are all games played by tycoons. The sea isn't a tycoon, so he couldn't afford to play this game. Everyone read. 8_841923566643. Foolish humans, go to hell. Foolish humans, go to hell. The flames covered the sky and the earth. Long Fei shouted loudly, "The stimulating thing is coming." Immediately, he once again told Li Yuanbar through the idea's sound transmission, "Find a hidden place to hide, I didn't come down, you guys definitely can't come out. Faster." Li Yuanbar immediately followed along. This way of speaking. As the Raven King's attack crashed into the canyon, the flames in the canyon were like flowing lava, and not a single blade of grass grew. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Blood Moon Sect disciples for obtaining 400 experience points, 700 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Blood Ape Blade. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Bloodsea Sect disciple for obtaining 400 experience points, 700 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Ding, ding, ding. It exploded. The system beep exploded. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of the explosion rang out. It did not stop. It was a complete mess. A wave of massacres swept through the valley, followed by a wave of angry curses. Which sect's disciple is it? Who is it? Don't let me catch you after 1,000 cuts. Otherwise, I will break his third leg. I will definitely refine him into a blood corpse. It's here again, it's here again, the Raven King is here again. Another wave of flames sprayed out. Those disciples of the demon sect all covered their heads and fled for their lives. Their hatred for Long Fei rose to the sky and they were extremely furious. Flames sprayed down. Ding, ding, ding. The system beep crazily sounded again. Long Fei became excited, looked at the increase in his experience, and started to laugh vulgarly in his heart. Ha ha ha. This level up is too awesome. At the same time, Long Fei continued to scold, "Grandson, do you have the guts to kill all of my people?" The Raven King was even more enraged. He had to say it. An expert at the early stage of the War Master could basically be killed in an instant. In the entire valley, only a few experts at the War Emperor could barely avoid the fire attack. Ding. Ding ding ding. 10 minutes later. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Chief level 8. It leveled up. Just as the system beep landed, the power of War Chief level 8 gushed out from Long Fei's body. It was very abundant. The feeling of leveling up is great. However, I still want to enjoy it again. Long Fei moved, ice and fire, come up with something more difficult. Bing Hua chuckled and said, "Understood." Rushing up to the sky, Long Fei retracted his wings, turned and charged straight down into the canyon. Standing on the dragon's back, Long Fei shouted towards the incomparably huge Dark Crow King, "You're going to hit me, you're going to bite me, you're going to hit me, grandson, you're coming." He was filled with hatred. A lot of demon disciples had died, but only a small part of them. There was still a large wave of Devil Sect disciples who hadn't died. What were these? Experience. The true chi. How could it be wasted? It wasn't easy to lure the big boss out, but if he didn't make good use of it, it would be a waste. After being ridiculed by Long Fei, Dark Crow King was so angry that his entire body had turned into flames. When the flames dispersed, millions of flaming crows flew out. Fire Crow. As the Dark Crow King's voice fell, millions of fire thunder crows rushed into the canyon. Don't chase me, don't chase me. Rumble. When the fire thunder crow touched its body, it exploded. Immediately, it was all gone. Ding. The entire canyon was filled with fire thunder crows, exploding whenever they came into contact with someone. Wow. It's here, it's here. Long Fei saw that there was a large group of fire thunder crows following behind her like a tracking missile. It was as if Long Fei had fired a fighter jet. Quick, 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 a bit faster, or else you'll be turned into a roasted fire dragon. Long Fei's palms also broke out in cold sweat as he watched the people inside the canyon explode the moment they touched the flames, and the tens of thousands of ravens on his mouth. This was the tempo of exploding into the sky. Suddenly, Long Fei saw Shu Tianlei running wildly not far away. Long Fei moved, "Fly lower, I have a way." Fire and ice followed suit. In the blink of an eye, Long Fei had caught up to Shu Tianlei and waved at him. "Hello, Guild Leader Shu, we have met. I have already returned from Dark Peak. You lost. So you're disbanding your Shu's mercenary corps." Shu Tianlei was so angry that his face turned green, and he cursed, "You lunatic, you want me to dissolve the Shu's mercenary corps? Stop dreaming, I'll definitely kill you and take revenge for my son." F***ck. He's so unfaithful to his word. Long Fei scolded, and then laughed. Since you do not keep your promise, then I will have to do it myself. Wang Jianshan shouted loudly, Big brother, behind us are a large black mass of fire thunder crows. Shu Tianlei turned around and looked, and scolded, You dog, I'm not done with you. Suddenly, Shu Tianlei held his golden blade and flew into the air, slashing towards Long Fei with his blade. Long Fei's mouth curved upwards, and said, You're not done with this, Daddy. I'm not done with you. But I have no time to waste with you right now. Long Fei moved, the speed of his ice and fire increased again as he flew past the walls of the canyon. Moreover, he turned his body and flew close to the ground. It flew above the heads of the Shu disciples. At the same time, over 10,000 fire thunder crows rushed out. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Countless casualties. The system beep in Long Fei's mind went berserk again. He went around the bend. Long Fei withdrew his idea and jumped down from the ice flame. At the same time, the ice and fire flew up into the sky and into the clouds, then instantly disappeared as he returned to Long Fei's Mount Space. Long Fei landed in the canyon. Then, he found a place to hide. You were like a fire in the winter, the raging flames were burning me. Hiding to the side, Su Yun moved his but according to the rhythm of the system beep. It felt so good. Half an hour later. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Chief level, 9. He leveled up again. He was just that handsome, just that fast. To be able to raise 2 levels in less than an hour, that was simply too great. After the fire thunder crows exploded, the entire canyon was a mess, corpses littered everywhere. The Dark Crow King disdainfully said, Puny human, chimph. This is the result of angering my Raven King. A contemptuous tone. Long Fei said in disdain in his heart, This young master is not doing this to you, otherwise. Sister-in-law, 1, /+ health strongest upgrade system right. Ancestor, do you think that after breaking through level 1, he will be able to evolve into a 9 secret underworld finches and enter the underworld? Long Fei suddenly asked. Yang Huang Ancestor replied, That's right. Long Fei muttered, Let's find a chance to take him in. Chapter 18_841923566644. 1 hour later. 1 hour later. Dark Crow King flew back to Dark Peak. The canyon regained its peace. However, this peace was only on the surface. Under the attack of the Raven King, the survivors were all experts. After confirming that the Raven King had flown away, a demon elder deeply roared, Who was it that attracted the Dark Crow King over? This time, he really did suffer great injuries. The Devil sect was not strong in the first place, and for this treasure of the god's devil ancestor, they had auctioned off more than half of their elite disciples. He had been killed in an instant. I can't even tell the bodies apart. In the dark. Long Fei grinned vulgarly. At this time, another elder of the Devil sect walked out and shouted, This will be better. It will save us a lot of trouble. Xie Qin also walked out, and said coldly, Ghost Elder, aren't you too vicious? Humph. Little girl, you dare to speak to me like that. Even if your master was here, he wouldn't dare to speak to me like that. You're courting death. Before he could finish, the sky was filled with ghost shadows as the War Emperor realm smashed down with all its strength. What he wanted this time was a one-hit kill. Xie Qin's expression changed slightly. With a cold snort, he said, Calling you Ghost Elder is saying that is thinking highly of you, you ugly and petty old thing. She suddenly flew up and stood on the cliff. Her right hand moved and she took out a magic zither. She hugged it and flicked her finger. Buzz buzz. The demon note was raging. Ghost Elder's heavenly ghost image was continuously being destroyed into powder, while the original body was also forced to retreat. His eyebrows were startled. The old granny's 9 serenities zither? Xie Qin sneered, It's good that you know this. If you know, go die. This time. She was the first to attack, grabbing onto the zither strings with 2 fingers of her right hand, she pulled at Ghost Elder, then release. Buzz, buzz, an explosive sound was heard. Ghost Elder's expression changed, he immediately closed his ears, and the War Emperor on his body turned into a ghost as he wielded his axe and chopped down. However, useless. The thick defensive armor of the Ghost King was smashed apart by the zither music. The armor turned into powder, revealing his white bones, but he was still blasted into smithereens. The sound of the zither also weakened quite a bit. Ghost Elder shouted, "You can't kill me with this kind of sound." "Is that so?" Xie revealed a cold smile. She pulled out a string, and the string became a thin sword the size of a needle. Poochie. Xie was sent flying and crashed into a rock wall tens of meters away. He coughed out a mouthful of blood, his face pale white. He looked at another place gloomily and said, "Blood refinement scholar." It was also at this moment. Standing beside Ghost Elder was a man dressed in white, who looked like a scholar. The man faced him and sneered, "Xie, you're too careless." Ghost Elder laughed proudly and said, "Do you think I would be that easy to kill? It's just for you to see. You have no experience at all, to actually dare to lay your hands on me, ha ha ha." Ghost Elder laughed proudly. At the same time, the two of them attacked Xie at the same time. Boom. A huge axe swept out, the immense power directly causing the Ghost Elder and the Blood Refinement Scholar to retreat backwards. A man with a monstrous appearance walked out. Standing beside Xie, she said slightly, "Two men bullying a woman, that's not good, right? A freak from the mountain and sea sec. People say, butcher." The expression on the faces of the Blood Refinement Scholar and the Ghost Elder slightly changed. They had absolute confidence in fighting 2 against 1, but if it was a 2v2, they were not very confident. Moreover, this place was not only their 4 devils, there were also the other experts in the 4 devils. All of a sudden, the originally tense atmosphere turned into a deadlock. The scholar slightly said, "Is this a good show? I should come out." A Blood Moon sect Black Deacon was the first to walk out laughing. He looked at a dead body and said, "Yin Mo, you don't need to hide under my Blood Moon mirror. It's useless." The dead body stood up, smiled, and said, "One day, I will destroy your Blood Moon mirror." Under the Blood Moon mirror, he had nowhere to hide. There were only a dozen or so disciples of the Devil sect left in the previous valley. The losses were heavy. The Black Deacon said, "Yin Mo, since it's like this, why aren't you handing the thing over? Do you still want us demons to be bullied? Suffering from the oppression of those sects?" "Exactly. The gods' devil ancestors' remnants were originally meant to make us strong and then avenge the old man. What do you mean by this? Do you, Yin Mo, own it?" Yin Mo smiled slightly and said, "Divide, completely possible, but how do you want to divide it?" "I want the gods' devil loot." "No, I can't give you the gods' devil loot. Isn't my ghost evil going to be suppressed by your evil sound sect? I want the gods' devil blade. I want the gods' devil blood." There was another argument. Yin Mo laughed. He knew clearly in his heart that these were the remnants of the god's devil ancestor, and all these belonged to a single person. The Sea Devil Emperor's crown Prince Huang Wuji, because he had the heavenly demon blood vein in his body. Then the heavenly demon blood vein must be the descendant of the god's devil ancestor. These things belonged to him. In here. If for the god's devil successor to be able to become the supreme devil king of the South Horizon region with his support, he would definitely be the #1 demon. And the most important point. Magic box. He couldn't open it either. Only the god's devil's successor can open it. No one knew about this, except himself. Thus, he wanted the 8 demonic sects to fight and kill each other. Seeing them arguing until their faces and necks were red, Yin Mo laughed in his heart, "Let's fight, let's fight. It would be great if the Raven King from before would do it again." Suddenly, the scholar suddenly said, "I have a suggestion." "Speak." Everyone looked at him. The scholar said, "If we continue to argue like this, we won't be able to come to a conclusion even if we argue until next year. If we kill each other, it will only harm the vitality of our demon race. So, I suggest that whoever can find that kid who was standing on top of the ice and fire just now, The god's devil ancestor's treasure should belong to that person. Heh! Everyone shivered. Someone immediately shouted, "That brat lured the dark crow king over, and killed so many of our disciples. Two things make one thing. I agree with this suggestion. I agree." The 8 great sects were all in favor. If not for the treasures of the god's devil ancestor, they would have already made their move against Long Fei. That kid must still be in the canyon. Search carefully. Baidu search, half afloat immediately. The last few War Emperor realm rankers from the 8 great demon sects were all gathered, searching for Long Fei. In the dark. Long Fei was stupefied. He was originally humming a flame around him, but then he suddenly felt as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over him. He cursed in his heart, F*CKU, F*K. Chapter 28_84 19235665. He had played himself out. He had played himself out. They don't play their cards the way they do. Since all his disciples had died, he should have given it his all. However. But to find him. This. Which devil is this? F*CKU. Long Fei cursed in his heart as he tried to come up with a countermeasure. The remaining dozen or so people, other than a few disciples, were all experts of the War Emperor realm S, led by the leaders of the 8 great demon sects. No matter how strong he was not a match for the 8 great War Emperor rankers. A head-on clash. The chance of survival is 0. Escape. The energy from ice and fire can't hold on for long, and besides, no matter how fast I am, it is impossible for me to be as fast as a War Emperor ranker. That won't do either. Become a devil? This. Long Fei's heart trembled, his mouth revealed a wretched smile, and muttered, "This is fine." At the same time, Long Fei said to Xiao Bai via sound transmission, "Xiao Bai, protect them well. If I am caught, do not come out." Finished. Long Fei moved and said, "Enchanted." It was also at this moment. A charred man stood in the darkness with a golden blade in his hand. Shu Tianlei. This guy isn't dead yet. However, Long Fei had already entered the bewitching stage, his threads quickly turned blood red and the demonic qi on his body dissipated. In the short 1 second, he had turned into a demonic. Shu Tianlei's eyeball had already disappeared, and the remaining eye of his had turned into a cross-eyed ball as well. Long Fei's aura was extremely familiar to him, and he shouted loudly, "Lord Shadow Devil, he's here." As soon as he finished, Shu Tianlei was also raging to the heavens as he said, "Brat, go and die." Long Fei was already possessed by his devil, and his voice sunk, "Shu Tianlei, you bastard, you're courting death." There was still a bit of blood on top of Shu Tianlei's head. Long Fei kicked Shu Tianlei and sent him flying. "Fuck you." Bam. Shu Tianlei was flung out and smashed into the wall. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Shu Tianlei for obtaining an experience point, True Chi 200, energy values 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Magic Pill. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 100 Spirit Stones. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Golden Blade. A small explosion. Long Fei didn't have time to be happy, because in front of him stood 8 people. An elder of the 8 great demon sects, was also an expert of the 8 great War Emperors. They stared at him without moving. Long Fei immediately said respectfully, "I pay my respects to the 8 elders. That person tried to sneak attack me and was sent flying with a kick. Isn't this trash trying to insult my devil sect just seeking death? My lords, I have dealt with him. Am I too handsome?" At this time, Long Fei was still shamelessly praising himself. However, the 8 of them looked at Long Fei without moving. Yin Mo also walked over, and looked at Long Fei's devil body. His gaze darkened as well, and he stared dumbstruck, his eyes filled with incomparable shock. The more Long Fei thought of himself, the more handsome he was. He was so enchanted with the demon rankers. At this time, Xie Qin muttered, "Why does he look a little like?" Not waiting for him to finish, the butcher tugged at her and looked at the others. The butcher shouted, "Stay here." At the same time, The 8 of them walked to the other side and started discussing in low voices. Why is it a sky demon? Impossible, God's devil ancestor has fallen for tens of thousands of years, it's impossible for him to be reincarnated as a sky demon. If he were to reincarnate, he would have reincarnated a long time ago, definitely not. Then, his blood-colored head and aura are unique to the God's devil ancestor, and no one can replicate it. No, he's that kid riding a dragon. My people saw him just now, otherwise they wouldn't have shouted out. Shadow Devil said. But what if he really is the reincarnation of the God's devil ancestor? We are very clear about the power of the God's devil ancestor. If even the gods are afraid of him hiding that power within his body, then, all of a sudden, the experts of the 8 demonic sects began to discuss with each other. At the same time, they weren't sure just how to make a decision. But one thing they were sure of was that Long Fei's outer appearance and aura was exactly the same as the God's devil ancestor. The reincarnation of the God's devil ancestor? In another place. Yin Mo looked at Long Fei, his eyes trembling a little. He shook his head a few times, and then furrowed his brows. He had a very complicated expression on his face, and in the end, couldn't help but ask, "Are you the reincarnation of the God's devil ancestor?" Long Fei looked at Yin Mo and thought, damn. Could it be that my appearance after bedeviling the devil is the same as the God's devil ancestor? Rub. This time. This is too much. However, Long Fei looked at Yin Mo and shook his head, I don't know either. Yin Mo's expression became even more complicated, and she said, you don't even know yourself? When did you discover that you were a demon? Long Fei scratched his head and said naively, I'm not sure about the specifics, but ever since I could remember, I felt a strange power in my body. An hour later, my grandfather reminded me that I must not awaken this power, definitely not, but afterwards, I couldn't resist and fell into a daze. Yin Mo completely believed it. F***ck. Long Fei had to admire himself because he felt that he could more and more make up stories. Even if he teleported back that day, he might even be able to become a otaku and live a life by writing novels. A screenwriter is also fine. Yin Mo thought, that's impossible, the God's devil ancestor's reincarnation can only be one person, but I saw with my own eyes that Huang Wuji from the Sea Devil Emperor has the heavenly demon blood vein. He also has the appearance of a God's devil ancestor, so who exactly is the real God's devil ancestor's successor? Could it really be 2 people? Impossible. All of a sudden, Yin Mo was also at a loss. At this time, the 8 demon sect experts walked up with murderous expressions on their faces. Obviously, they had made a decision. The scholar said coldly, Brat, you are not the reincarnation of the God's devil ancestor. If you are the God's devil ancestor, then you will definitely not kill any demon disciple, so you must have some sort of magic treasure on you that can change you into this state. The butcher then said, you should pay the price for killing so many of our demon disciples. What's the point of wasting so much time with him? Kill him. The 8 people stepped forward at the same time. Long Fei tightened his eyebrows and started to act cautiously. These 8 people were clearly here for the treasures. Baidu sister-in-law AA half. Floating life strongest upgrade system. If they acknowledged that Long Fei was the reincarnation of a sky demon, then it would be impossible for them to obtain the treasures of the God's devil ancestor, so only by killing Long Fei would it be possible for them. The remnants of the God's devil ancestor, they were all godly items. Anyone would covet them. No one could resist temptation. Yin Mo suddenly took a step forward and said, wait. Chapter 38_841923566646. Yin Mo's identity was different. Yin Mo's identity was different. He was a descendant of the Heaven Demon sect, and he knew that the magic box could only be opened by the God's devil successor S. What if Long Fei was a God's devil successor? What if he had mistakenly killed him? The only chance that the heavenly demon sect had to rise up was lost. He had been searching for Huang Wuji for so many years, believing him to be the Sea Devil Emperor, but now, Long Fei had appeared in front of him after he had been bewitched. He had to be careful. The blood refinement scholar stared at Yin Mo and said, "What are you waiting for? You don't really think he's the reincarnation of a heavenly demon, do you? Even if he is the reincarnation of the heavenly demon, I must kill him. I must take revenge by killing so many disciples of the blood refinement sect." "You're right. Kill him." The 8 war emperor rankers shouted at the same time. Right now, they only had the heavenly demon treasures in their hearts, and not the reincarnation of the heavenly demon. Tens of thousands of years had passed. Who still wants to be related to the reincarnation of the sky demon? Yin Mo's brows sank, and said slightly, "Black Deacon, don't you have the blood moon mirror? You can take a picture and tell if he's a demon or not." Black Deacon slightly said, "The scholar said that even if he is the reincarnation of a sky demon, he would still kill him. Who told him to kill so many demon clan disciples?" "Humph!" Long Fei shouted with a thunderous voice, "Do you think you have the face to call yourself a demon? You don't even know what a demon is anymore, right? You're afraid of death. Deceitful, deceitful, and full of scruples. Is this a demon? In my opinion, they are a group of despicable and sinister villains. No wonder the 8 great demon sects have been trampled on by the orthodox sects for so many years. How can trash like you be able to turn the tides?" His voice was filled with arrogance. Domineering. At the same time, it was full of demonic chi and the kind of domineering aura that looked down on everything in the world. Since they thought of themselves as God's devil ancestor, then they naturally had to make good use of it. If you want to act tough, you have to act big. The 8 war emperor rankers were obviously frightened, their faces turned sinister as they stared at Long Fei and shouted, "You do not have the right to judge whether or not we are devils." "Exactly. Kill him." An elder of the Blood Sea sect shouted. It was also at this moment. Long Fei moved, and shouted in his heart, "Second level without peer." Boom. With a strength of 4 folds the attribute, the demonic chi gushed out unscrupulously. Long Fei moved, with a step, he struck down with his palm, impudent. Pa. The slap almost caused the Blood Sea sect elder to fall to the ground. The 5 finger marks on his face were clearly visible. This was Long Fei's full power attack. It was also a sneak attack. None of them expected Long Fei to act, so the elders of the Blood Sea sect were hit by Long Fei. Moreover, after Long Fei's slap succeeded, he did not retreat immediately. Instead, he stood in front of Elder Shui Hai and arrogantly said, "If you dare to say anything else and kill me, I'll wring your head off." His voice was gloomy and arrogant. In addition to the 4 times attribute, he had also forcefully crushed Elder Hai. So much so that he didn't dare to retaliate after being slapped. The Elder of Blood Sea of the War Emperor realm was actually defeated by Long Fei of the 9th level of the War Chief. The 8 of them were shocked. However, they recovered from the shock in seconds. Because heavenly demon treasure. Yin Mo's heart sank even more. I'm afraid only God's devil successor would be able to do such a thing. But if that's the case. Without waiting for the 8 to get angry, Yin Mo said, "Everyone, please listen to me." While they were talking, he took out an item from the space ring, a skeleton box-like magic box. The magic box was made from a kind of 10,000-year-old ancient wood. It was engraved with a mysterious rune which was emitting a dense demonic aura. Taking out the magic box, the 8 war emperor rankers were immediately attracted by it. It also instantly quieted down. Yin Mo continued, "This is the God's devil ancient case. All of you want to obtain the things inside, it's the same for me, but have you ever thought about why I didn't open the magic box? Because I can't open it either." The 8 of them were shocked. "Yin Mo, didn't you say that you are the only one who knows how to open it? Why can't you open it? Impossible, right? You want to trick us?" The butcher's eyes turned vicious as he growled, "It's just a box. I don't believe it can be so strong. Get out of the way." Before he could finish his words, the butcher swung his axe at the magic box floating in the air. Buzz. Bam. A stream of dense devil energy came out of the magic box and directly knocked the giant axe out of the butcher's hand. The butcher himself also retreated explosively, smashing into the wall and spitting out a mouthful of blood. Everyone's expression changed drastically. In terms of strength, The butcher was the strongest out of the 8 of them, but when the axe had struck down earlier, it hadn't come in contact with the magic box at all. This magic box is very powerful. The top of the magic box is covered in mysterious runes. These runes release a demonic aura. What exactly is this power? Yin Mo, the box has always been on your body. What kind of power is this? Yin Mo slightly said, the power of the sky demon. The faces of the 8 people trembled once more. Yin Mo looked at Long Fei, exhaled, and said, I've told you, I am the only one who knows how to open the devil box, however. I didn't say that I could open the magic box. Don't beat around the bush. If you have something to say, just say it. Exactly. The 8 of them were all very worried. Yin Mo looked at Long Fei again, and said, the God's Devil ancient case can only be opened by God's Devil successor, and only God's Devil successor can use the things inside. God's Devil blood, God's Devil lute, God's Devil blade, and 3 Buddha magic relic. The reason I sent the item to see Devil Emperor is because there is a prince there, and within his body lies the heavenly demon blood vein. I once thought that he was a God's Devil successor, but now. Yin Mo looked at Long Fei, and slowly asked, and who is he? Long Fei's mind flew. As long as God's Devil successor can open the magic box. He knew very well. He was definitely not the God's Devil successor. He had simply been possessed, and had become like a heavenly demon. However, Long Fei's heart trembled once more as he thought to himself, I have been bedeviled by the system of enchantment, but could it be? What did the system set me to be the God's Devil successor? In that case, his brain started working again. It was also at this moment. The scholar took a step forward and shouted, it is very simple. You will know if he gives it a try. Yes. Let him try. You come here and open it, then you can give us everything inside. Isn't that what God's Devil successor is using? Long Fei smiled slightly. Do you think I'm as stupid as your brain? I opened the box and you guys killed me. Am I that stupid? No one was an idiot. Although Long Fei wasn't a match for the 8 of them, no one could force him to open the magic box. Floating life, table of contents, no windows. A++ all of a sudden. The atmosphere was tense again. At this time, the canyon trembled violently, as if 10,000 beasts were running. Yin Mo's eyes lit up, and she said, they're here. Chapter 48_841923566647. What is that sound? What is that sound? Army. Who brought him here? The 8 War Emperor rankers frowned and looked at the people around them. Yin Mo laughed blandly. Someone from the Sea Devil Emperor. This was his reinforcement. This was also why Yin Mo insisted on going through the dark forest. The strength of the Sea Devil Emperor was not weaker than any of the devil sects. He was the only dynasty amongst the demon forces, and furthermore, the Sea Devil Emperor had an expert supporting them from behind. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. In the valley, a group of demon rider warriors surrounded them and attacked. The faces of the 8 demon sect elders turned cold. Even in the 8 demon sects, there weren't that many demon soldier warriors, but it was hard not to be shocked that a small dynasty would have so many elite demon cavalry soldiers. Master Yin Mo, we're here. The leading man jumped down from a demonic bear, looked at the 8 elders of the War Emperor realm, and his face changed slightly as he said, Master Yin Mo, they are trying to kidnap you. Without waiting for Yin Mo's reply, the man's voice sank, shouting, kill, ha, roar. The demon cavalry roared furiously, and those elite warriors killing intent soared to the sky. They looked as if they had become abnormally fierce in an instant as waves of surging demon aura pounced on them. The faces of the experts from the 8 War Emperor realm changed once again. These demon soldiers had extremely powerful cultivations, and the devilish intent being released from their bodies was as strong as blades. If it were not for the War Emperor realm, they would not have been able to withstand it. Long Fei's heart sank as well. A dynasty is even more powerful than a sect, just how did they do it? He thought of his own Long family. He also wanted the Long family to become stronger than any sect. However, He didn't know what to do, but now that he saw these devil riders, an idea formed in his mind. The butcher picked up the axe that had been knocked off the ground and placed it on his shoulder. His voice was filled with anger as he shouted, "Did you flatten our 8 great demons? Courting death." Xie Qin pulled on her zither. The moment the demon knights pounced, she would immediately attack. Yin Mo stepped forward and said, "General Lai, please wait. These people are all from the demon race. If I didn't have their protection just now, I would have already been eaten by the Raven King. There were not many experts in the War Emperor realm itself. If they were to die, the demon forces would be weakened even more. Moreover, Yin Mo needed them too." Lai Yu smiled slightly, "So that's how it is. Then who is he?" His gaze immediately locked onto Long Fei. He was very clear about what had happened in the canyon. The people from the 8 demon sects came for the god's devil ancient case, and it was the same. He had to ensure that the god's devil ancient case could smoothly reach Sea Demon King City. Yin Mo's brows tightened and immediately said, "This is my follower, who is also the guardian of the god's devil ancient case." "Is that so?" Lai Yu stared at Long Fei, his eyes narrowing slightly, releasing a cold killing intent, and said coldly, "He seems to be the person who lured the Crow King here, right? Master Yin Mo, you are His Majesty's esteemed guest, you wouldn't lie to me, right?" Yin Mo's heart sank. Lai Yu sneered, "Brat, you really are the guardian of the god's devil ancient case." Long Fei looked at Lai Yu's ice-cold expression and said unhappily, "So what if I am? So what if it isn't?" Lai Yu's eyes narrowed as killing intent flashed in his eyes, and he said, "It's you who can live. No, you're going to die soon." "Oh." Long Fei laughed coldly, "Then I'm not. I'd like to see how I die." Raw. An armor. 8_841923566648. Long Fei's group of 10 were escorted by several hundred demon soldier warrior out of the dark canyon. Long Fei's group of 10 were escorted by several hundred demon soldier warrior out of the dark canyon. Peace returned to the canyon. Xiao Bai, Li Yuanba and the rest walked out of the crack in the canyon. Wang Shiyun asked, "What do we do now?" Xiao Bai replied, "To Demon Sea City." Li Yuanba immediately walked out, and said, "Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up, boss is still waiting for us to save you." Xiao Bai slightly said, "You guys go first, I'll catch up shortly. I have to gather some brothers first." Li Yuanba looked at Xiao Bai, then said, "Let's go." Without any hesitation, they all rushed in the direction of Sea Demon King City. Half an hour later, the 2 elders landed. 2 elders from the Heaven Demon sect, Jiyu Hun, Wild Ghost. Here, and also retained the aura of the god's devil ancestor. Jiyu Hun said lightly. Wild Ghost looked at the messy surroundings with a hidden lock between his brows, and said softly, "Could it be that these 8 great demon sects are trying to snatch the god's devil tokeness from us?" They had been traveling around the world and did not know about the god's devil ancient case. In their eyes, there was only one reason for the battle here: snatch the god's devil token. Jiyu Hun's eyes turned cold and he said in a low voice, "If anyone wants to harm God's devil token, I will immediately kill him. After obtaining the God's devil token, he will be the reincarnation of our God's devil ancestor and the supreme existence of our South Horizon region demon sect. Demon sovereign." Wild Ghost also followed up, "These are the last words that the ancestor left behind when he fell, and were passed down from our ancestors as well. If anyone dares to go against us, I'll be the first to take their life." Possessing the god's devil token, he was the Demon King. Only they knew. Not long later, Jiyu Hun looked at the exit of the crevice and said, "There's only one place that Dark Crack can go to. They should have gone to see Demon City, that place." The 2 of them looked at each other and frowned. And then, the 2 of them turned into 2 balls of light and sped towards Sea Demon King City. Sea Demon King City, Imperial Palace. In the secret room, Huang Wuji sat with his knees crossed and his face red, as if he was on fire. Not too far away from him stood a red-browed old man. This old man emitted a dense demonic energy that didn't belong to the demon race of the South Horizon region. His voice was low and deep as he faintly said, The Crimson Flame Devil scripture relies on the demon heart in your heart. As long as I continuously break through your demon heart, you will be able to continuously break through. Limitless, you have to remember that the heart of a demon is the foundation of the path of demon. Huang Wuji's expression did not change, but a voice came out from his stomach, "Master, I will remember." The forefather nodded slightly, and said, "When you obtain the god's devil blood, your cultivation will definitely increase by another level. When that time comes, with the power of the Buddha magic relic, you will definitely become the supreme expert of the demon race and become one of the 8 great demon sects." He was very satisfied with this disciple of his. The years of nurturing had not been in vain. Moreover, immediately, the god's devil blood would be sent over, and Huang Wuji's cultivation would be raised to another level when the time comes to unify the demons in the South Horizon region. As for him, he. The old man's mouth curved into a strange sneer. 10 days later, Lai Yu sent Yin Mo, the 8 War Emperor realm warriors and Long Fei all to see Demon Royal City. What a strong country. I never thought that there would be such a powerful dynasty in our demon territory. He is not weaker than any of our 8 great demon sects. The 8 War Emperor rankers were all amazed. In these past few years, they had been suppressing and fighting each other, so they didn't care about when such a powerful dynasty had appeared in the demon territory. It was also because they were not paying attention here that Sea Devil Emperor was so powerful. And then again, this was the border of the South Horizon region, and beyond it was the Demon Sea. Where did the Demon Sea lead to? No one knew. Even more so, no one would pay attention to this kind of border area. In a huge plaza of the palace, Lai Yu's voice sunk as he shouted, "All of you are here, no one is allowed to move about carelessly." The Devil Rider stood up and shouted. Lai Yu looked at Yin Mo and said, "Sir Yin Mo, please follow me into the Imperial Palace to meet His Majesty. I believe that His Majesty will definitely be happy with your arrival." Yin Mo was an esteemed guest of the Sea Devil Emperor, and he and the Emperor of the Sea Devil Emperor were old friends. Yin Mo smiled and said, "You guys wait here for me, I will come over later. At that time, the matter regarding the heavenly demon relic will definitely give you an answer." While they were talking, Yin Mo looked at Xiong Longfei and the idea sank. He sent a sound transmission to him, "If I don't come out, then I should already be dead. If you can escape, then run." He didn't know why. He had a nagging feeling that something was wrong. He had always thought that Huang Wuji had the heavenly demon blood vein, and that he was the god's devil successor, but now, this feeling was shaken because of Long Fei's appearance. If Huang Wuji wasn't God's devil successor, then it could only be Long Fei. At that time, Sea Devil Emperor would definitely give his all to chase after Long Fei. At that time, I'm afraid. Yin Mo secretly tensed up, and said to himself, "Everything depends on the heaven's will." Long Fei's mind moved, he did not have any expression. Because Lai Yu glared at him. Yin Mo and Lai Yu walked into the Ocean Demon Palace. Huang Haitu came over with a face full of smiles, and said, "Brother Yin Mo, how have you been?" Yin Mo was also full of smiles as he said, "Big brother Haitu, I have been safe and sound throughout our journey, so you have to worry about me." "Ari, what are you saying? The last time I received your secret order, I immediately ordered Lai Yu to lead the demon cavalry to wait at Dark Canyon. Luckily nothing happened to you, otherwise, I would be feeling guilty for the rest of my life." Huang Haitu pulled Yin Mo's hand, his face full of excitement. At this moment, Huang Wuji also replied respectfully, "Uncle Yin Mo." Yin Mo looked at Huang Wuji. The aura being emitted from his body was the aura of a heavenly demon blood vein. His cultivation had become a lot stronger compared to the last time he saw Huang Wuji. How much time had passed? His cultivation had broken through so fast. I'm afraid only the god's devil successor would be able to do that, right? All of a sudden, Yin Mo was conflicted. Who exactly is the god's devil successor? Yin Mo's heart was in chaos. Is that the heavenly demon blood vein? Or is it that brat's heavenly demon appearance? At this moment, he felt as if his shoulders were filled with a heavy weight. Everything in the heavenly demon sect was placed on his shoulders. It was too heavy, and he could barely carry it. Huang Haitu asked, Yin Mo, did you bring that out? Yin Mo clenched his teeth. No matter what, this object could only be unraveled by the god's devil successor and was known to him immediately. He said, according to the treasure map that you gave me, I have brought it out. Equals semi-floating life plus, Huang Haitu said excitedly, ha ha ha. The heavens have blessed my sea devil emperor, Limitless. Why aren't you kowtowing and thanking Uncle Yin Mo? Huang Wuji knelt down on one knee, and said, Thank you, Uncle Yin Mo. Yin Mo flipped his right hand and took out the god's devil ancient case. Huang Wuji was excited. Chapter 18_841923566649. Sea Demon Great Hall. Sea Demon Great Hall. Devil aura shot up high into the sky. Every corner of the hall was filled with thick devil aura. Sky Demon's unique demon chi. Everyone couldn't help but become nervous and feel respect for him. Huang Haitu's face was incomparably excited as he immediately asked, Brother Yin Mo, how do I remove this god's devil ancient case? Inside is a heavenly demon relic. What he wanted the most was the heavenly demon heart sutra. As for the god's devil lute, the thing inside, the god's devil blade, was just something he invented, to make Yin Mo try his best. However, there was one thing he could be sure of, the ancient box definitely contained God's devil blood S and Buddha magic relic S. These two things were sacred objects to demons, especially Buddha magic relic S. It had to be in the ancient box, because after the sky demon had fallen, it immediately disappeared. He couldn't guarantee anything else. Yin Mo did not know that Huang Haitu had lied to him, and replied softly, I also don't know. As soon as his voice faded, Huang Haitu's expression clearly changed. He stood up from his seat and said, Brother Yin Mo, what joke are you joking about? How could you not know? The heavenly demon tomb must have taught you how to open the ancient box. Brother Yin Mo, think about it, Limitless is the reincarnation of the sky demon. If he obtains the treasure in the ancient box, then he will become the supreme demon, and your achievements will be limitless. You will be bestowed the title of Supreme Master, and you will become the #1 person in the entire history of the demon race. The corner of his eye unconsciously looked towards the darkness at the back. Yin Mo replied, There is indeed a description in the heavenly demon tomb, but I don't know how to open it, I only know who could open it. Huang Haitu immediately asked, Who is it? Yin Mo looked at Huang Wuji and said, God's devil successor. God's devil successor? Huang Haitu's heart sank, the fists under his sleeves tightened, he could not help but look at Huang Wuji, and said, Limitless is God's devil successor. Yin Mo said, That's why they risked their lives and entered the demon's tomb, bringing out the god's devil ancient case, so that Limitless could become the supreme expert of the demon race. Limitless. Whether or not you can activate the god's devil ancient case is up to you. I can't help you with this matter. If you can't open it, then you are not a god's devil successor, even if you possess a heavenly demon blood vein. Yin Mo said straightforwardly. Huang Wuji said confidently, Uncle Yin Mo, don't worry. I am definitely a god's devil successor and I can definitely open the god's devil ancient case. Finished. He was about to walk up to the ancient box. At this time, Huang Haitu slightly said, Hold on. Brother Yin Mo, you said that the god's devil successor is the only way to open the ancient box, but if Limitless only has the heavenly demon blood vein and not the god's devil successor, then that means he can't be opened. If that's the case, aren't there no one who can open the heavenly demon relic? The image of Long Fei appeared in Yin Mo's mind, after pondering for a while. Just when he wanted to say something, suddenly, Lai Yu took a step forward and said, Reporting to your majesty, there is an ancient box guardian in Dark Canyon. According to this subordinate's knowledge, his appearance and appearance are exactly the same as God's devil ancestor. Oh! Huang Haitu was immediately shocked and asked, Brother Yin Mo, is what General Lai said true? Yin Mo originally wanted to not reveal it, but now he had no choice but to say it out loud. What General Lai said is right, there is indeed a person who looks exactly the same as the God's devil ancestor, it's just that his appearance is similar, and this is a common sight within the demon race. Huang Haitu smiled faintly and said, Limitless, open the magic box. While they were talking, Huang Haitu looked at Liu, and the expression in his eyes tightened a little. Liu understood and slowly left the palace. Huang Wuji walked forward and looked at the box. The idea moved, wanting to use the sky demon chi in his body to seep into the box, but at this moment, bam! A dense wave of magic directly sent him flying. Boom! Smashing into the gigantic pillar of the sea demon palace, Huang Wuji spat out a mouthful of blood, his face pale white. He was seriously injured. Yin Mo's expression also darkened. You're not God's devil successor. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Huang Haitu laughed wildly and said, of course he's not God's devil successor. Huang Wuji stood up with much difficulty, took out a magic pill, and consumed it. Yin Mo looked at Huang Haitu and laughed crazily. His heart sank as an ominous premonition rose in his heart, and he asked, Brother Haitu, Limitless is not God's devil successor, why are you laughing? Why? Because I have to thank you for sending God's devil successor to my side. Huang Haitu's mouth revealed a cold smile, and looking at the confused Yin Mo, he couldn't help but start laughing, and said, you probably don't know yet, right? From beginning to end, Limitless never had a sky demon blood vein, and the blood vein in his body was merely a sea demon blood vein. From beginning to end, you were tricked by me, ha ha ha. Yin Mo's brows sank, looked at Huang Wuji, and said, impossible, I have personally examined it myself. Huang Haitu laughed, are you sure that drop of blood essence is limitless blood? That is indeed heavenly demon blood essence, but that does not mean that it is everlasting's blood essence. If we don't do this, how can you be at ease and go find the heavenly demon relic for us? The anger in Yin Mo's heart immediately shot out, and said, Huang Haitu, you're too despicable. Not waiting for him to finish, Huang Haitu's body moved, and suddenly appeared behind Yin Mo as he sneered, I'm not despicable, how can I become a demon? Bam! Both palms shook, directly blowing Yin Mo away. Without waiting for Yin Mo to stand up, Huang Haitu stepped on Yin Mo's body again, and laughed sinisterly, only you are able to enter the ancient demonic graveyard, without you, how would I have gotten the God's Devil ancient case? What I didn't expect was that you actually brought the God's Devil successor here, ha ha ha. Yin Mo's eyes turned sinister as he thought to himself, this is bad. It was also at this time. Yin Mo roared loudly, and said, run, Buzz. Just as his voice reached the entrance of the hall, it was blocked by a scarlet energy, and not a single sound could be heard. It was also at this time. The red-browed old man walked out. Yin Mo's eyes turned sinister, bloodshot as he said solemnly, Scarlet Soul, heh heh. The old man sneered, never thought of that, right? I'm back. The heavenly demon dog chased my ancestor away and chased him for thousands of miles. If my ancestor had not fallen into the sea of demons and survived, there would not have been a single member of my Scarlet Soul tribe. I'm back today. They want to exterminate all the evil sects in the South Horizon region to avenge their death. I want the demons left behind by the Sky Demon to pay 1,000 times the price. Woo ha ha ha. Chapter 28_841923566650. On the square outside the palace. On the square outside the palace. 10 minutes passed. The scholar slightly said, why is he not out yet? Xie Qin put a hand on Long Fei's shoulder, little handsome brother, are you really the reincarnation of a sky demon? Our ancestors and God's devil ancestor are a pair, how about we? Cluck, cluck, cluck. Xie Qin's large twin peaks rubbed against Long Fei's arms, making them feel numb. In addition to the heart-piercing laughter, no one could resist it. Xie Qin continued to speak, all of us evil sound sects are beauties with the beauty of a nation. When the time comes, you will be in our evil sound sect to be romantic and happy for the rest of your life. What do you think? This? No doubt about it. It had always been what Long Fei wanted. Moreover, he had to say it. Xie Qin's clothes were exactly like a zither girl's in a game, hot and spicy, his clothes on his chest seemed to be bursting at the seams. A delicate appearance that could arouse tender affection. However, the ghost elder laughed strangely, Evil Sound Sect did instantly, with groups of beauties, but you can go enjoy it with your life. This supreme beauty of the Evil Sound Sect especially absorbed the yang energy from men. Even the god's devil ancestor back then didn't dare to linger here. Long Fei's heart trembled, and he looked at Xie Qin. Xie Qin's expression changed slightly as he said, "Ghost Elder, you dare to ruin my good plan?" Ghost Elder sneered, "What do you mean by bad news? Which disciple of the Devil Sect doesn't know that the Evil Sound Sect's women are the most vicious and specialize in absorbing the yang energy from men's bodies? Is that so?" Long Fei slightly nodded as the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of an evil smile. Xie Qin immediately pretended to be weak and leaned into Long Fei's embrace, saying, "Little handsome brother, don't listen to his nonsense. I truly like you." "Really?" Long Fei asked. Xie Qin nodded his head, and said, "It is absolutely true, from the first time I saw you, I had already fallen for you." Long Fei said, "How much do you like it?" Xie Qin said, "If I like it, I'll do anything for you." Long Fei asked, "Anything?" Xie Qin looked at Long Fei's fiery eyes and felt joy in his heart. He thought to himself, "What kind of man can resist my enticement? Moreover, this is only a place." He looked at Long Fei lovingly, and said, "Amen," immediately. Long Fei grabbed her chest. Xie Qin's expression changed. She never thought that Long Fei would be so bold. Moreover, in broad daylight, the other 7 people looked at her, and the surrounding demon cavalry warrior were the same. All of them swallowed their saliva, and stared at Xie Qin as if their eyeballs were about to pop out. All of a sudden, Xie Qin's face reddened, and she instantly bounced away from Long Fei. She hurriedly tidied up her clothes and scolded, "Brat, do you want to die?" Not taking advantage of a bastard. Moreover, she was such a ferocious woman, so he shouldn't miss out on her. Long Fei feigned ignorance. "You said it yourself, you are willing to do anything for me, even touching you twice, you are lying to me." "Humph. I was still thinking of opening the God's Devil ancient case and giving it to the God's Devil lute, but I've changed my mind." "Heh." Xie Qin was startled, and immediately regained his composure, leaning on Long Fei with a soft and weak look, and said, "You pinched Lun Lun's house just now." Long Fei pretended to be disdainful and said, "I didn't use any strength just now, stop lying to me." "I really didn't lie to you. If you don't believe me, keep touching." Xie Qin was ready to throw caution to the wind. Long Fei was just a teenager, how could he have any playthings? However, she didn't understand Long Fei at all. Long Fei's personality towards women was, if you gave him a pole, he would immediately climb up. The moment Xie Qin's words fell, Long Fei kept reaching his hands directly into her clothes. The 7 war emperor rankers in the surroundings, along with the hundreds of demon soldiers in the surroundings, all of them were prostrating themselves in admiration of Long Fei. So awesome. Xie Qin was about to cry. The more she comes along, the more you feel like you've been fooled, but he still didn't know how to exit. "I can't bear to have a child with a wolf." He was going to throw caution to the wind. At this moment, one of the guards walked into the hall and said, "The God's Devil ancient case has been undone. Please enter the hall and take a look, guardians of the ancient boxes. It's been solved." Xie Qin was the first to react. Her 2 eyes were unmoving as they looked at Long Fei. Her face was pale white, as if her eyes were about to spit out fire. He even had the heart to eat people. He stared at Long Fei and said, "Try touching it again." He fiercely pinched them, causing his hands to feel extremely good. Long Fei played dumb. "Didn't you like me? I like you too. I will kill you." Xie Qin was completely furious. At this moment, Long Fei used a bit of force. Crash. Xie Qin's clothes were pulled down, revealing his chest. Long Fei immediately shouted, "It's so big, quickly come take a look." While they were talking, Long Fei had already ran out. Xie Qin was furious, he almost wanted to suck Long Fei dry, the killing intent in his heart had never been so strong. Too cheap. Invincible. The blood-refining scholar smiled, "Stealing a chicken will cause one to lose rice. Xie Qin never thought that you would wear such a sexy outfit, ha ha ha." Xie Qin's face paled again. The guard reminded them once more, "Please hurry." Everyone calmed down. Xie stared at Long Fei and said, "I will deal with you when I become strong to the extent of being a god's devil lute." All of their attention was focused on the god's devil ancient case. Long Fei's heart sank. From the moment Lai Yu had walked out of the hall to the moment the guards had summoned him, he had a bad feeling. Yin Mo once told me that if he didn't come out, we should escape. I'm afraid. Xie immediately said in disdain, "Brat, now that you're not God's devil successor, your little life is not safe. Don't worry, Big Sis will definitely protect you. I will definitely bring you to Evil Sound Sect, and let my junior sister apprentice have a taste of this fresh meat of yours." Black Deacon also sneered, "Coward. Something that doesn't exist." No one listened to him. Long Fei hesitated for a moment and followed after. He also wanted to know what exactly the god's devil ancient case were. Was it really as the rumors said? Magic Buddhist relics? The 4 treasures of God's devil blade, God's devil lute, and God's devil blood? He knew there was danger. However, wealth comes from danger. No matter what, he had to go and take a look. As the 9 of them walked into the Sea Demon Palace, the demon cavalry warriors in the plaza uniformly surrounded them, blocking off the entrance to the main hall. The moment Long Fei entered the great hall, his heart sank. The entire hall was filled with an incomparably thick killing intent. Yin Mo was even more so on the verge of death. Chapter 38_841923566651. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,